content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
What's cracking, everybody? I'm Gigi. You tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers, man. Before I get things started, as I always do, I want to give a shout out to all you haters out there. Hope y'all having a good afternoon. I know you hating from the sideline. It is what it is, though. Hope you're having a good one. Also, when you come in, could you please hit the like button? And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, could you please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification button so you can stay on top of what's going on here on the Green Gorilla channel. And as I always do, I want to give a shout out and show some love and appreciation to the people who support the channel on an ongoing basis. So shout out to a new member, Naomi Gary. I really don't know how to pronounce that. It's Naomi and then it's spelled G-E-R-Y-E. Gary, I don't know. But anyway, shout out to you. Thank you for becoming a member of the Green Gorilla channel. I appreciate that. Shout out to J. Cleveland Green, Mr. H, Brotherly Love, Pulpit 28, Lee Ways, No Sleep, Broken Blade, Mr. King, and Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Thank you so much. Shout out to Larry R, Seth Son, Michael Ross, Devon Love Ridge, Afro Troop TV, Show Me, Spain Man, Ben Cannon Kenton, Seventh Coast Dojo, Apex Prowler, and Anthony Davis. Thank you so much for your appreciation. I'm just Jules, Blacksword 404, and Honest Look, Sherlin Woe, Ricky Dawson, Stefan, Julius Ferguson, Lord Hamal, True 7360, Mr. Me Too, and Call for President. Big up. Big up to Superman's Cape, Gold Professor, AKs and Curtains, H-Town, Roguish the Billmonger, BD Main, Adrian Thomas, Electrician 480, Binga, Cutting Up with the Jones, and Zanko. Big up. Big up to D. Scott, Path Guy 74, Pete Rock 496, Aaron Peters, Barnolas, Dardar, Vincent Lindsay, Beautiful Trauma, Quiz the Poet, Black Wizard ADOS, and Jazz Tech. Big up. Big up to Shadow Observer, Sugar T, Artisan MC, Troy Warren, Mrs. KP Bailey, Alan Wiley, The Face, Life of Commerce, Dream Lit, A. Wilson's Ghost, and Timothy Blewett. Big up. Big up to Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., Adam, BGS Ibmore, Ignatz Mouse, Brian Peaks, Papa Didas, Scott Haywood, Black Uru, and Dr. Tree 33. Big up. Big up to Leroy Honeycutt, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, Kimran S., Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Greg, Barry Little, and Mr. Valentino. Big up. Big up to Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, Mark Swift, Odd Collar, Donald Watts, Coach Hotep, Old Soul Chief, Mr. Blue Collar, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, and Mr. Heat. Big up. Big up to Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Rasheed Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, Red Pill Revelator, Aaron Infinite, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Kalonja Kala, Hostile Adept, and WPR1. And I can't forget the brethren, Forrest Windu, David Carroll, and that boy Kevin Samuels, man. Big up to all of them, man. On the Patreon side, I'd like to give a shout out to Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Dax BJ Live, Rashawn Phillips Surles, Keith Bass, Nick, Albert C., Dr. Ben Vincent, J. Cleveland Green, I'm the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Tyrone Hampton, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Preserve Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi Momal, and the Sangwa. Big up to all of y'all, man. Y'all deserve a round of applause. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla channel on an ongoing basis. And if you're wondering how you can do the same thing, here's how you do it, and I'll be back. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, Straight up, no chaser. Today I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, y'all, we're back. I'm GG. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers. And, today I figured that I'd cycle back to something that I've done before. And the reason I feel like it's necessary for me to cycle back to it is because a lot of people got it twisted, man. They think, I don't know what they think actually, but I've just heard, a lot of statements that, seem a little bit backwards to me. And so I kind of want to address it. I mean, I got guys thinking, like I'm pro-feminist, I'm trying to, not be on the side of men, like I'm jockeying for chicks now or something like that. Like I don't know where it's coming from, but I had one guy say, well, why can't black men just be over their women? And, like, why do we have to, why do we have to be docile in front of our women? Why can't we just be in charge and it be expected that we be in charge? Like, I'm like, well, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. It's a wrap for that. I just don't think, at this moment, it's of any importance anymore. Be quite honest. But a lot of guys, this is what I liken the situation to. Because most guys, to be quite honest, man, you really want to be back into the Matrix, man. This is how I perceive a lot of you guys. Not all of you, but a lot of you. Yeah, ignorance is bliss. Like, I want to go back to the way things were. I want to be in a situation where, I'm the stay-at-home, I'm not I got a stay-at-home wife. She just kind of like chills and shit and, hangs out and goes shopping when she wants to. And, it's a homemaker, takes care of the kids or whatever the case may be, while I go out and bust my behind for 10 to 12 hours a day and then come back and, make sure that she's happy and everything is serene and calm around the household. Explain to me what is good about that, bro? What's beneficial to a man about that? I would like to know. Somebody, explain to me, if you could, explain to me why that's beneficial. And you're one of the individuals who I would like to, have a discussion with, because it's almost as if, okay, well, I want to go back to being in charge. In charge of what? I want to be the head, the head honcho. The head of what? And it's a simple, look, the argument is simple. I've been over this before, but I'll go over it again. Because some of you are new and you don't really understand the argument that I'm making. So I'm going to break it down to you in the most simplistic form that I can. And all I got to do is just read an article. That's all I got to do. Share my little screen and read an article. Okay, so this is a book. The name of the book is called The Anatomy of Female Power. Some of you don't think that women have power at all. I beg to differ. I disagree, okay? For those who don't think that women have power, I think that you're lying to yourself. Don't know why you're lying to yourself. I really don't know why. But, hey, they say ignorance is bliss. Okay? So the author of this book, okay, we go all the way to the beginning, okay? A Masculinist Dissection of Matriarchy. Chinweizu, okay, is the author of this text, okay? You can find it online. It's called The Anatomy of Female Power. He's a philosopher, and he says, look, this is a masculinist dissection of matriarchy, okay? So I picked up on this book. Some pro-black nationalist guy gave me this book, and I found it intriguing. And I thought that much of what he said here is spot on, to be quite frank, okay? Quite frankly, I found it to be rather illuminating. So anyway, what this guy says is, he says, if the standard privileges of women make the world of elite matriarchs the closest thing on earth to paradise, and let's not be mistaken, women do have privileges. I don't know why guys are under the illusion that women aren't in privileged positions. They are. They always have been. And also, look, why would you care about who's making the argument? That's an ad hominem argument related to who's making the argument. Either you agree with the argument on its own terms or you don't. It doesn't matter who's making the argument. It doesn't matter if he's fucking polka dot. It doesn't matter if he's short or tall, if he's a light-skinned nigga or a dark-skinned nigga. It don't matter if he got curly hair or nappy, Negroid hair. It don't matter if he's motherfucking white or black or brown or yellow. That shit does not matter. What matters is the goddamn argument. And I'm tired of this simplistic tribalism from you Negroes in America, for real. Quite frankly, I'm tired of hearing that shit. Like the tribe of America is different than everywhere else in the world and we're exceptional and everybody else is a piece of shit except for us. I'm tired of hearing that shit, because to me it's some stupid shit. Now I can understand the situation amongst us is unique, but the idea that nobody else except for us has merit is absolutely simplistic. It's a stupid ass argument. It's a dumb argument. It's an ad hominem argument with no content. It's just the same shit that white folks say to niggas. That's a nigger there. I don't want to hear anything a nigger has to say. It's the same kind of argument, but you don't want that kind of argument to be made about you, but you'll make it against other people. Now, if you got an argument to make about them, make the argument. But don't just predicate it upon some ad hominem bullshit, because that's bullshit. So the motherfucker who invented the wheel and who learned how to harness the power of fire, fuck what they were different than our tribe, so fuck their contribution, right? The motherfuckers who created Indo-Arabic numerals, fuck them, because they from another culture, right? So whatever the fuck they got to say, we gonna dismiss it. It makes no sense to me, man. So at any rate, the guy basically says, look, that women are in a privileged position. I don't know what you know, but there's a video going around right now, and it's like, well, if your wife made $500,000, would you stay at home? And the niggas just basically get up and they start dancing in house robes with curlers on, acting like women, which is, it's satirical, okay? It's satire, okay? So basically they're like, damn right I stay at the crib. I start cleaning right now. My wife made 500 G's, I'm at the crib, I'm good. No, I don't give a fuck if it's Hitler making the argument. No, I don't give a fuck who's making the argument. I don't give a fuck if it's Hitler making the argument. If the argument is a sound argument, then the argument is sound. Bottom fucking line. I'm just tired of hearing people like, first of all, I'm about to block your ass because I'm just tired of hearing you come up being like a little snarky dude. Like, fuck all that snarky shit, man. Go on somewhere with that bullshit, man. Stop the snarkiness, bro. Act like a goddamn man and listen to the argument first. And stop being like a little bitch in the chat, bro. So I can go ahead and make my case. So at the end of the day, he basically says that even the grand patriarchs, the so-called men who are the manliest of men, are nothing but head men among helots, which is a Greek word for slave or a Roman word for slave. He is merely the chief public agent for the grand matriarch whose nest he serves. When some in paradise rebel against their condition, what should the slaves do? Would it be unreasonable of them to revolt? To understand why men have not yet revolted in the wake of feminism, we ought to note that in their attitudes to women, there are three basic types of men. The macho, which I would consider to be you alpha dudes, or in your mind, which is fantastic, because most of y'all, it ain't too many black men in the fucking country of America that I would consider to be alpha. Because they'll break your ass down. Even if you so-called consider yourself to be alpha, they'll yank your shit away from you. We just saw this happen with Kanye West. I'm not saying that we ain't men. I'm just saying all this old, I'm the hardest motherfucker. Come on, dog. Let's keep it a buck here, man. So it's three types of dudes. The macho, the musho, who I would consider to be a simp, and the masculinist. A macho is a brawny, you know, like I'm good looking, I'm muscular, and I'm big and all of this. And, you know, I get what I want because I'm using force. And he might even sometimes be brainy, might even be smart. But he's a brainy fuck totem who has been bred for nest slavery. Most guys have been trained to think that, oh, I'm supposed to go out and work. She's supposed to stay at home and do whatever the fuck she feels like doing. And that's a man, because a man is a fucking protector and a provider, right? And I don't care, like, at this point, like, I don't care about conservatives, liberals, white people, black people, red people, brown people. The whole thing is, this is a global argument. This argument is not just making reference to American or Western culture. This is an argument about the condition of men the world over. He's been bred, every man for the most part has been bred for nest slavery. And he was indoctrinated to believe that he is the Lord and master of the woman who actually rules him. Because think about it. You get anybody that gets to stay home while your ass goes out and bust their ass to work. Who's the boss? Anytime your life is forfeited for the sake of somebody else's, who's the fucking boss? Who's the boss? Who's the most valuable individual? So anyway, that's the macho, the fucking sophisticated slave, somebody who believes he's the Lord and master of the woman who actually is ruling over him. A musho is a henpecked version of the macho who hangs like a bleeding worm between the beaks of his nest queen. Yes, dear, whatever you want, dear. Hey, dear, yes, dear. And a masculinist is a man who's devoted to male liberty and who would actually avoid nest slavery. Then it goes on, all through history, the overwhelming majority of men have been macho men. I want to be a macho man. I want to be the head of the house. I run it. That's the majority of men. A henpecked minority have been mushos, and very few have been masculinists. As feminism won prominence and brought greater social acceptability to termagants, which is man-haters, that's what it means, more and more men have come under their influence, the influence of termagants, man-haters, and have become mushos or simps. On the other hand, stung by feminist accusations, a very tiny minority of men have re-examined the male condition, found it to be nest slavery, and have rebelled and turned masculinist. Shout out to Durrell. And there you go. Women have always ruled. That is where the happy wife, happy life comes from. This shit been happening back when, even in the Bible, it says, hey, better to be a man living on a corner of a roof than to be in the household with a nettlesome woman. Shout out to Eric Dedman. He says, the irony, Gigi, is that women have always held power over their men, but it was subtle, understated power. Feminism convinced women that they had no power. And that's exactly what this guy is saying. Shout out to him. So anyway, and this is what he says. The macho man. Right? The macho man. Because you hear all this shit all over the internet. I'm an alpha. I'm a real man. I'm a man. And what you want to go do? You really actually, niggas are in this space dying to be providers and protectors of women. Dying for that shit. Nobody's swearing off women at all. But it's the terms of interaction between us have to be altered. So anyway, the macho or male chauvinist or manly man is this strutting factotum. I'm a man. I'm like, look at me, man, and be big and manly. You see it all in this space. You see it all in the culture, whether it's hip hop, R&B, I'm a man, I'm a manly man. The macho or the manly man or male chauvinist is a strutting factotum with bulging biceps, stone dry eyes, brains that's ruled by his dick, brains rules by his dick, and an ego indoctrinated to believe that he is the lord and master of the woman who rules him. His psyche is primed to defend his woman's honor, supposed honor, from other men's advances or criticism. We just saw this shit with Will Smith. I read this shit before Will Smith. We just saw it. Thoroughly conditioned to serve women. His life satisfaction comes from loyally serving his nest queen. Naturally, he is the matriarchist ideal man. When young, he suffers from the delusion that he's stronger, cleverer, and naturally superior to the woman who controls him. However, an older, wiser macho man, if obliged to confess the truth, might say, I'm the captain of this ship, and I have the permission of my wife to say so. What the fuck you think all this submission conversation is about? What you think the whole submission conversation is about? Whether I will or will not let you do X, Y, and Z. Whether I will or will not allow you to dictate the terms of what we're doing and how we're doing it and when we're doing it. Anybody who's been with a woman knows, man, women, they have ways of getting the shit that they want without fucking lifting a finger against you, bruh. But we gonna pretend like that shit doesn't even exist. I'm the captain of this ship. I have permission of my wife to say I am. She submitted. By then, it's too late for him to be anything but a habitual macho. Then he goes on to talk about the mushos. The modern musho, a simp, or the new feminine man is one of that breed of diffident men who've been bullied, guilt-tripped, ego-bashed, and penis twisted into pram pushing, meaning pushing a buggy and shit, diaper changing, and breast envy. Now you got guys wanting to, this book was written fucking in, what was the year, bro? What page is this, man? This page what? 125. Let me see how long ago this shit was written, bro. How long? When was this shit published, bro? I need to look at the date on this joint, man. It might not be on. I might not see it, but I wish. 1990. 1990, bro. Big Kev, what's cracking?
Oh, not much, GG, man. Just, yeah, we're just reading from the same book. You know what I mean? Like, I got the PDF file, and you're reading from the PDF file, man. Yeah, man. And you make good points, and the people don't want to listen. So, I mean,
man, half of the guys want to be macho. I'm a macho man.
Yep. Macho Man Randy Savage. Snap it to a Slim Jim.
I'm the man. Why can't I be the man? Which really motherfuckers signing up to be high value men to do what? So they can pay, so you can pay motherfuckers? So they can live a life of leisure and conspicuous consumption?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, like you said, that Victorian era, that high class Victorian era ideal of femininity was just sit there and do nothing while you do all the work.
And this is the issue I got, right? What Jamfar is saying. Men are fighting for women just to give over the fruits of their labor. That's how I see it, man. This is how I perceive it. When a guy says, and even if guys in this space aren't saying it, it's enough men out here in America that are saying this shit. And members of the black community who are like, well, I'm not a real man if I'm not able to provide. Which means I pay all the bills. Oh, you ain't got to worry about nothing, baby, because, me being a man means I got to do it all.
Yeah, like, I get the idea of, like, the final decision maker as far as, okay, yeah, You could do what you want. We can, have discussions, but ultimately, it's my say whether or not to do, whether or not to go forward with something. But yeah, what they think is, like you said, it's like you do almost 100% of the work, and she sits back and does nothing, and quote unquote rests in her femininity. It's like, no, that's not how most women lived.
Now you got women talking about, like you said, the soft girl life. I want to be a soft girl.
I want to be a soft girl. And what's funny is that they'll talk all this soft girl era BS, right? But then they'll be the same ones shaming women who are like genuinely likable and cooperative, that actually know how to get along with men. They'll shame those women, call them pick-me's. But then you talk shit about pick-me's, but then imitate their behavior. So which one is it?
Man, look, I ain't trying to figure it out no more. I'm not. All I'm doing is classifying and categorizing guys.
Yep.
If you the type of guy who like, I make so much money, you know what that shit reminds me of? It ain't tricking if you got it.
Right.
That's what it reminds me of. It ain't tricking if you got it.
And listen, hey, listen, if you want to be a trick, that's fine. Just don't be like a rough trick. Don't be out here, preying on women that aren't in the industry. But like you said, it's different strokes for different folks.
It ain't tricking if you got it. I'm gonna tell you when this shit started recently amongst people in I'm Generation X. I ain't no baby boomer. I'm Generation X. Okay, now you can say what you want to about the rap music or whatever, but during my era when I came up, Cass was like, I'm not tricking.
Yeah.
I ain't letting her juice me for my dividends.
Yep.
You caught the vapor. She tried to play me. I ain't gonna get played like that. Like, Rakim, I came in the door. I said it before. Go get
I never let
get soft and warm. Don't get excited you've been invited to the quiet storm.
Right.
Now it's out of hand because you told me you hate me, and then you said, what have you done lately? First you say all you want is love and affection. Let me be your angel and I'll be your protection. Took you out and bought you all kinds of things. Must have got you too hot and burnt off your wings. You caught an attitude.
Yep.
But nowadays it's like shit. I'm going to tell you who started this shit. Puff Daddy, man. Them niggas and bad boys started all this tricking shit. We can cruise the world for girls, gator boots for girls.
Right.
Crushed linen with diamonds in them.
Yep.
I'm gonna give you this. I can give you this and that. And I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna buy this. That's some sucker nigga shit for real.
I'm gonna buy you stuff you can't even pronounce.
Well, I mean, look. At least, Orange Juice Jones like, I'm gonna take that shit back.
Exactly. You can respect that, right? Like, I buy you stuff you can't.
Man, nowadays guys is like, shit, it's my job to trick off.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm making. That's my way of demonstrating my manliness.
Right.
And that's gonna make her satisfied. First of all, that shit ain't gonna make no chick satisfied. If she wanna get off on your ass and get out on your ass, she gonna get out anyway.
Exactly. Yep. You
can have all the money in the world. If she getting out on your ass, she getting out on your ass, partner.
Yep. And if you notice, we talk about when he talks about the idea of the macho versus the mucho, the reason why they fall into those camps is because they fundamentally believe that it's their job to make a woman happy, and it's not at all. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't put on here to quote unquote make a woman happy. You were put on there to protect them from external danger, external threats, but not to, like, quote unquote make them happy. Nobody can make somebody else happy. First of all, when people talk about happiness, it's a brief state of being. The focus should be contentment and fulfillment more so than happiness. Because happiness is fleeting.
Yeah, hey, trust me. So let me push through this though. You can sit here with me while I do it. But
not a problem. Yeah.
So shout out to Ghetto Ish. He says others can say what they want, but for me, you're preaching the truth. He says I have seen it all my life, which is 73 years. Men have a hard time accepting reality. Why I stayed single the majority of my life. Shout out to Ghetto Ish, man. Shout out to him, man. Who? Them was the only motherfuckers talking about tricking off. Before them niggas came along, in the Generation X, them the only motherfuckers I heard, you can trace the origins of all this tricking shit. Anyway, the musho is one of the breed of diffident men who've been bullied, guilt-tripped, ego-bashed, and penis-twisted into pram pushing, which is a buggy, diaper changing, and breast envy. He is the befuddled, henpecked male who lacks the wit to recognize his male interest. He is one of those male wives of female husbands who have been described in Julie Burchill's apt phrases as the bleeding hearts and crying males who make up the walking wounded of the modern sex war. The more articulate musho even becomes a missionary for his hens anti-male views. You got man, there's so many black male feminists out here, man, championing the cause of whatever
FD
the
signifier. FD signifier.
Well,
Let's be real.
I ain't gonna say no names. Cause it's I don't want to just single him out because it's a lot of
right. Exactly right. Like I don't want to make him seem like, oh, we're just coming after him. No. He's an example of what we're talking about. Yeah.
So he says, he is the termagant feminist ideal man. He's doing her work, the man hating for her.
Yep. Exactly.
So anyway, the masculinist belongs to an altogether different species from the macho and the musho. So he's not an alpha male like I'm the manly man and I go and I pay all the bills. He's not the musho who just does whatever his, his man-hating wife says. He does not suffer, the masculinist does, from most of the illusions of the macho. He's not drawn to macho ambitions. And he views the musho with robust contempt. So he's like, both of you motherfuckers dumb for real. Both of you are like really not actually meeting the standard of what's in your own interest for real. Just as a human being. Okay? So he says, in keeping with his commitment to the liberation of men from nest slavery. So what he does is actually he flips the whole concept of patriarchy around and says, well, all these men going out and fucking working and terraforming and sacrificing and busting their fucking asses to the bone and dying early, all because also somebody else can just sit back like a fat cat. How is that liberating, man? Is what he's saying. How is that liberating? Shout out to Distinguished Legacy. He says, today's sisters coined the term big D energy, which is more of a reflection of how much money you're willing to spend on them and not your character or sexual prowess. I saw that Lotto shit yesterday. I saw that song, man. Look, because I was basically having a conversation with Sanddog off the air or whatever. We just rapping and chopping it up. And basically, I told him that like these chick rappers nowadays, they dudes, man. They are nothing but niggas, man. Real talk. The shit these chicks is talking about is the same shit niggas was talking about 10, 15 years ago. It's the same shit. They talking about shooting niggas with guns. They talking about making money. And they talking about getting their pussy sucked instead of their dick getting sucked. Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it.
But remember, we're the misogynists. We're the misogynists for talking about one of the fuckos. We're the misogynists. We're such misogynists. How can you be so misogynist?
Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't just lay in it. Spend all day in it.
Yep.
I'm like, man, and then she talking about, she got guns, extendos. I carry like I'm pregnant.
Pow, 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 pow. But then no. But then when some stuff pops off for real, oh, she's just such a helpless woman. Be like, I love you, mama.
Look, I don't have no problem.
Down.
My thing is, look, so the idea is not to be some macho man where you're trying to actually get the Uno card reversed on you and switched up. Because really, actually, that's what it is. If you're in a relationship with anybody and it's predicated upon you being self-sacrificial and the other person being considered the prize and like I'm just elevated and pedestalized and I have nothing to offer, I won't offer support. I won't offer labor. I won't offer love and reciprocation. All I got is my handout. How is that a condition in which you're actually benefiting from a relationship arrangement? I just don't see it. So, but anyway, he goes on to say, the masculinist, in keeping with his commitment to the liberation of men from net slavery, he would end the psychological, social, and legal conditions for that slavery and create instead conditions for equitable conditions or relations between the complementary sexes. If men have not yet revolted in the wake of feminism, it is because there are too few masculinists around. This is so because mother power still produces far too many machos. And because termagants, which are man haters, have taken so many lapsing machos in tow and made them into simps, muchos. And because far too many men are ignorant of female power and its ways and means. Bam. How does the Matrix operate? It operates in such a way as you don't understand what reality is, so there's no way for you to even resist against it. You don't even know who holds the power. You know, the only thing we say is, well, you know, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, there's sexual dimorphism. Men through history have been hunters and women have just been gathering, sitting around a fire, nice and safe, never, left the circumference of the village and shit, while, men just always went out and risked life and limb.
Yeah. And it's like, listen, I understand some of these fields were male dominated only because the reason why it is because how can I put it like this? Some jobs are so, and we see this nowadays with like the NFL and NBA and like, military special forces, like the Navy SEALs and stuff. Okay, some jobs are so inherently risky, physically strenuous and dangerous that to actually have a woman amongst those ranks would actually create a loss in efficiency. So I get that to some degree. But again, it's you. And I was telling this to somebody in Discord. It's like, listen, this is why I don't like this. This is the reason why I don't push that male supremacy crap. Even though we're talking about, even though we criticize feminism a lot, is because, like what you said, I don't want that. Because I'm physically stronger, I don't want that to be utilized as a weapon against me. Because we especially see that now with a lot of brothers, man. That's how a lot of brothers get caught up. We get caught up trying to, quote unquote, prove our manhood to people that don't even like or respect us or see us as just a pack mule. You know what I mean? So
I call him King Dick.
Exactly.
Like King Dick. I remember, Ludacris back in the day used to joke
right.
about it. I'm King Dick.
Exactly. So
at the end of the day, man, like, look, here's a factoid. You can look it up and determine whether or not it's, right or wrong or accurate or not. But the niggas with the biggest dicks get cheated on the most, man.
That's
isn't that ironic?
I mean, I don't know how true that is. I mean, I don't know how true that is. Yeah,
do a fact search on it. It could be wrong, but look, this shit don't matter, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, man, the shit, all this old, the big dick energy is nothing more for a way other than a way for you to actually, be a service to somebody for real. It ain't right. It ain't respecting you for who you are. It's right. For what you can do for them at the end of the day anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, let me get through this because I don't want to be all day with this shit.
Oh yeah, man. I'll let you keep going. Yep.
If men have not revolted in the wake of feminism, it's because there are too few masculinists around. This is so because mother power still produces far too many machos, and because termagants have taken so many lapsing machos in tow and made them into mushos, and because far too many men are ignorant of female power and its ways and means. Consequently, the liberation of men depends crucially on the spread of the masculinist understanding of male-female relations. The masculinist is a libertarian. His commitment to male liberty and his understanding of the conditions for male liberty shape his beliefs. The masculinist accepts that, contrary to what the macho believes and the feminist claims, it is a woman's world and not a man's. The masculinist accepts that, contrary to feminist propaganda and macho illusions, the arch enemies of feminism are not men, but that vast majority of matriarchies who do not wish to give up their traditional powers and privileges. Phyllis Schlafly is a perfect fucking example of a woman who's like, I don't want to, we got privileges, you stupid bitches, what are you doing? She went from state to state, talk show to talk show, trying to explain to women what privileges they had. They don't have to go to war. They don't have to go to work. They can demand that their husbands support them and benefit them by going out and work, and they can sue their husbands. They can go to a fucking court and make their husbands pay for some shit that they want. Or used to be able to do that, okay? Anyway, since patriarchy is but a facade for a basic matriarchy, and this goes for like even the guys who think that they're running shit. Like we always like to think, well, it's, you know, well, we got because we live in a black gynocracy that it's different for other guys. Anyway, since patriarchy is but a facade for a basic matriarchy, the men whom feminists claim as their enemies are simply fall guys for the matriarchies. Masculinists, for sure, would redirect the feminist arrows to their proper destination, namely matriarchy. The masculinist accepts, as the Calypso song says, the woman is smarter and woman is the boss. The masculinist accepts that men are the biologically more dispensable sex. We already know that that's the case. This book is free, dog. So don't pay for this shit. Look up Anatomy of Female Power. Free PDF is out there. If it ain't out there, I'll find a way to get it to you. And I'm reading this because I'm repeating myself because guys don't get the argument. They don't understand it. Men are the biologically more dispensable sex, which is why societies train men for high-risk occupations like hunting and war, whereas wombs and their carriers are protected to maximize a society's reproductive capacity, hence its chances of survival. The masculinist does not believe in being owned by any woman, nor does he believe in owning any woman. He recognizes that the owning of any human being by another was abolished long ago, and quite rightly too, and he has no interest in having the practice revived in any form. In his encounters with women, the masculinist role model is not Adam, who knew women well enough, no, it says who has little reason to respect. He has little reason to respect Adam, okay? So let me repeat that because I kind of fumbled it. In his encounters with women, the masculinist role model is not Adam, who he has little reason to respect. Because that motherfucker, all he did was did whatever the fuck Eve wanted any goddamn way, right? But he does take after Gilgamesh and Odysseus or Ulysses, who knew women well enough to defeat their schemes and survive their revenge, who demonstrated that the resolute man who understands women has little cause to fear her or them. See, nowadays women are belittled to such an extent that like we just dismiss any power or influence that they have at all. And we think that all power can be reduced to physical power or brute power. That's not the only kind of power that exists in the world. I saw power when Jada Smith gave a look to Will Smith and Will Smith got set off and he went to go attack another man. I saw power there. I don't know what you saw, but I saw power there. Because look at Odysseus and the trials and the tribulations that he had to deal with. Some of his trials and tribulations were monsters like Scylla and Charybdis. Some were like the Cyclops. But many of the trials he had to endure had to do with women. Circe, Calypso. But because we don't even have a vision of females in positions of power at all. No deities, outside of the context of fantasy, no superpowers, no nothing, no basically part of being or power related to being is allocated to the female sex in this culture. In myth. And this is because of the Abrahamic religions. But like people in the past, they knew damn full well like women have power and they knew what kind of power they wielded. But we act like it doesn't exist anymore. So he goes on to further say, the masculinist believes that every woman has every right to do whatever she wants to with her body, except enslave a man with it. If she wants to hoard it, which I've heard women now, like they going on this celibacy flex shit. Like, I'm flexing on you niggas because I'm celibate now. Okay, go ahead. You want to hoard it? You want to tender her unbroken hymen to the worms in her grave? If she wants to do that, that's her prerogative. If she wants to give her genitals to a man, to 20 men. If she want to be a thought and a slut, or to 1,000. If she want to fuck a chicken, a goat, a gorilla, or a hippo or a horse, an elephant or a polar bear. That is her business.
Yeah, that's the only part of the group. That's the only part of the book I disagree with, because I mean that's just disgusting. I mean, and that's just a bunch of venereal diseases just waiting to be spread. But in regards to between humans, yes, absolutely, yeah. Like if you're gonna, the
dude is being satirical here. He's doing this for effect.
Right.
He's basically saying it's not your job to police women's pussy holes. Is what he's saying. And a masculinist wouldn't do so. That's what a macho guy'll do. Right? The macho guy'll be like, well, I gotta, like if somebody getting in, that's my pussy. Right? Like Will Smith did. That's some macho shit he did, right? I'm about to slap the shit out of this man because he's talking about my wife. It's like a guard dog. If men control women, women would be out here doing the violent work. Putting their lives on the motherfucking line and their dicks or their pussies on the chopping block. Think about this, man. In nature, there are species of animals where women do the attacking and shit. Like, think of lions. It's the female lions that do the violence. They say that, like the male lion is the king of the jungle, but who does the fighting?
Yeah, like you said, yeah. Well, yeah, like female lions handle they handle like most of the hunting, yeah. And then like the male lions, they'll like defend the pride from like attacks and whatnot. But yeah, like generally, yeah, when it comes to hunting, yeah, it's mostly handled by the women.
So anyway, the masculinist does not believe in clitoridectomy, which, you know, like it's cutting off it's female genital mutilation. Because in other words, you know, we shouldn't do it, right? He sees it as a strategic weapon against men because they don't have to deal with the sensation of sex, whereas men do. And so that's creating an imbalance, right? So he's like, fuck it. Because if you uncut it, if you don't engage in the practice, then she will be as randy and as sexually, you know, voracious as a man would be, if not even more so. It would end that sexual restraint, which gives a woman power over the sexually desperate male. The masculinist is not prepared to sell his lifelong labor to a woman in exchange for her ova and her womb. Which is what a lot of guys this is what a lot of guys are saying. Like, I want to be a high value man so I can buy a woman's womb so I can have children. I mean, am I wrong? So he's willing to sell his lifelong labor to a woman in exchange for her womb. If he decides to rent a womb, he pays the going rate or even better, but he will not enslave himself to a nest just for the illusion of owning a womb. He cannot wait for the day when cloning will make the womb obsolete and womb renting superfluous or superfluous. The masculinist has no quarrel with love itself. He knows that a woman's love, when she is not nest-minded, when she is either prepubescent or postmenopausal, can be safe and pleasant for a man. But he also knows that it is rare, most rare, for a woman between puberty and menopause to indulge in non-nesting, non-predatory love. Being a seasoned realist, a masculinist is, in Diane Wachowski's words, a beast of the jungle and knows better than to disregard the nature of an animal. Therefore, when he tangles with a nest-age woman, when she gushes out she loves him, he cannot but wonder which arm or leg the lovely shark is after. Because most of these chicks are after something. You better believe it. To the masculinist, a wedding is a ceremony in which a woman is issued with a public license to ride piggyback on a man and exploit him. He therefore does his best not to wed. He does not believe in marrying to obtain house help. Unlike the macho, he finds it cheaper to rent house help than to marry it. The masculinist does not subscribe to gallantry. He does not believe that a man should open doors for or give up his seat to a woman, not unless she is old or has a disease, in which case she gets the same considerateness as an aged or an infirm man. He does not believe that it's for any man to defend any woman's honor. He believes that if her honor matters to her, a woman is quite capable of defending it herself. So all that Will Smith shit, you don't see it. All that the proxy violence, you don't see it. The masculinist believes that every woman should protect herself. She should learn karate or self-defense, MMA or some shit. Don't depend on a man for physical defense. He believes that since rape is better prevented than punished, martial arts as well as other anti-rape techniques should be standard items in every girl's education. The masculinist believes that if it is all right for women to be feminists, it's all right for men to be masculinists. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Each should, therefore, define and protect its own interest. But what is the male interest? Or what are the sort of things that are not in the male interest? It's not in the male interest to be a nest slave or to be programmed for nest slavery, which is what marriage to a certain extent actually is. We've all been trained and educated that this is what we should be doing.
Yeah. As far as what I would consider nest slavery is duty without benefits or incentives. You know what I mean? You should quote unquote man up and be a man and take care of your children and whatnot, but you're not entitled to any hobbies. You're not entitled to consistent sex. You're not entitled to authority over your children. You're not entitled to any of the benefits, but you should just do it because manhood. Yeah, like that's definitely what I would consider nest slavery.
Let me just say this shit. Most alpha guys, man, for real, like these so-called dudes, a lot of y'all are just tricks, man. You paying you in an arrangement where you paying for the pussy, man, on a consistent basis, man.
I mean,
I just hate to say it, but it is what it is. I mean, like if you comfortable with that arrangement, it is what it is. But don't act like it's something different than actually what it is. And the only bad part about it is that in America, a woman can terminate the arrangement anytime she get ready and still take your shit. And guys are like, well, you just got to charge it to the game. That's just how the institution is. Word. It's just how it is, right? Oh, it's cool just getting exploited and taken to the motherfucking cleaners. It's cool. I'm down with it. I'm good with it. I'm fine with it. I'm talking about in America now. I don't know, even Canada or even Great Britain is like that, as far as I know. Most of the Western world. It's not in the male interest to be society's specialist in violence, war, and other dangerous pursuits. So long as these pursuits are necessary, men and women should equally engage in them. The proposal in February 1980 by U.S. President Jimmy Carter to draft women, men, for military service, and the decision in February 1989 by Canada to integrate its armed forces and make women serve in wartime combat roles, including infantry units, these are both in the male interest. It's not in the male interest to maim or slaughter one another in their competition for wombs. In other words, it's not in the interest of men to kill each other over pussy. Which is one of the reasons why, like, a lot of people don't want to factor it in, but a lot of the reasons why, the homicide rate is so high amongst men is because men is killing each other over pussy. It's not in the male interest to be killed by a woman when a liaison between a man and a woman breaks up, or when the woman, like the notorious Jean Harris, fears the man might leave her. But the only stories we hear is like the jealous man going, sleeping with the enemy or some shit. Those are the only stories we hear. We don't hear the stories of women doing the same shit. Or, cutting off a man's penis or something. Like the Bobbitt story. It's not in the male interest to live in an environment that is polluted with sexual stimulants which weaken men's bargaining position in transactions with women. Viagra, Cialis, and all that shit. It's not in the male interest to be exploited through alimony payments or other rackets of divorce.
Yep, say it louder for the people in the back.
It's not in the male interest to be exploited through alimony payments and other rackets of divorce. Now, how do matriarchism, feminism, and masculinism relate to one another? Man, fuck this dude, man. I'm done with this dude, man. Man, look, I'm done with this dude, man. Fuck that dude, man. Bye-bye. I'm not listening to no more bullshit no more. So he one motherfucker, you don't have to subscribe. You definitely ain't a member. You can get the fuck gone. Don't come back, nigga. Bye. I'm tired of this nigga lurking in my chat, man. You the type of nigga, man, I probably would in real life. I'd smack the shit out of. Real talk. Bye-bye. You're banned, nigga. Don't come back. Go fucking, go be on somebody else shit. Don't come back to my shit, dude. Stay the fuck off my shit, bro. Bye-bye. Peace, nigga. You're an irritating dude, man. You's an irritating dude, bro. I'll holler at you, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. Bye, dude. Holler at you, bro. I told you I'm not taking no more disrespect, man, and a whole bunch of bullshit. I'm done with that. Go troll somebody else, man. I got better shit to do. So anyway, broadly speaking, feminism and masculinism are two different revolts against matriarchy. Feminism is a revolt by some women who are bored or frustrated within the matriarchist paradise. Masculinism is a revolt by some of the slaves on whose backs that paradise rests. How does masculinism regard matriarchism and the tendencies within feminism? Matriarchists have been the expert exploiters of men since the beginning of human society. Their ideology, matriarchism, still demands the same thing from men: obedient and uncomplaining servitude. Since they are dedicated to net slavery, matriarchism and matriarchists are most dangerous to masculine liberty. They are, therefore, the focus of the masculinist freedom-loving scrutiny. From the masculinist point of view, the demands of tomboy feminism are actually understandable, negotiable, and mostly reasonable. Equal opportunities in the world of their brothers and fathers for those women who prefer careers in that arena? Yes. Equal pay for equal work? Yes. But why, the masculinist wonders, do tomboy feminists limit their clamor for equality to the soft white-collar jobs in the erstwhile male sphere? If, as they insist, equality should replace complementarity as the overriding principle in the gender division of labor, risk, and status, then why do tomboys not demand that both genders be equally drafted into infantry platoons or coal pits? Should gender equality stop short at the edges of swamps, mine pits, and battlefields? Until tomboys demand equal access to the nasty and strenuous jobs which men do, the masculinists can only be skeptical of the tomboy feminism's good faith. To the tomboy feminist who advocates gender equality, the masculinist would address this vital question. Is it fair to reorganize the centers of male power to accommodate women without also reorganizing the centers of female power to accommodate men? Upon the answer received would depend the masculinist attitude to the tomboy feminist. But the demands of termagant feminism, which is man-hating feminism, are another matter entirely. They are not demands with discernible remedies, but rather excuses for guilt-tripping, harassing, and mauling men in the unhallowed tradition of harridans and shrews. Damn. The termagant feminism belongs to those man-haters who would legitimize man-killing for nest desertion, or even man-killing for spurned love, Ishtar style, on the implicit ground that a man has no right to choose whom to love, but must submit to any woman's offer of her embrace like a slave to a tyrant's wishes.
AKA, I deserve to kill him because he he cheated on me. I deserve to burn his house down because he cheated.
Or his
I deserve
car.
right. Kill the kids because he cheated.
Determined feminism belonging to the palimony racketeers and the alimony extorters and the man humiliators who demand, love me, love my menstrual blood. Even in this age of AIDS. Of termagant feminism, all sane males must beware. So, the tomboy feminists, okay, cool, but you can't just want the good shit. You got to take the fucked up shit that men have to deal with as well. When it comes to the termagant feminists, which is the man-hating feminists, the radical ones, kill men now, ask me how, them type, well, ain't no negotiation with them. They just want to see you hurt. They want to see you exploited. Paradoxically, the tomboy is the masculinist, least uncongenial type of woman, meaning she's the most congenial, okay? She is his partial ally in revolt against matriarchism. And temperamentally, she is like a buddy with whom he could have sex and children. The termagant, though sometimes quite deadly, is the least problematic to the masculinist. Her nuisance can usually be avoided from afar. Being determined to obtain his liberty, the masculinist looks at net slavery with unsentimental eyes. For only by understanding man's condition can he hope to change it. He accepts that man's subordination to woman derives from the 5 pillars of woman power. He knows that with a man's loss of control over the kitchen and the cradle, he really has never had any chance of being anything but the slave of woman. As a realist, he accepts that woman's control of the womb will remain unassailable until cloning techniques are perfected. He knows that probably nothing can be done about woman's relatively greater psychological maturity. But he also knows that much can be done through cultural training to whittle down woman's control of kitchen and cradle and to reduce the deranging powers of the erect penis. He therefore welcomes feminist demands that men be obliged to work as baby minders. When men get control of the cradle, they will be able to train children in the male interest and so reduce the numbers of machos and mushos in the world. When men get control of the kitchen, female power over a man's stomach will diminish. There's some dudes that can't even cook for themselves out here. And that's some sad shit to me. A man who cooks cannot be half starved into submission on any matter by his wife. The masculinist believes in bringing about the revolt of the helots of matriarchy. The slaves, okay? What a different world it would be if only the macho ego would give up its ingrained stupidity and respond to the masculinist call. Men of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your macho illusions and your nest slave burdens. So that's it. And so, my whole viewpoint is, why continuously sign up to be a member of a system that's rigged against you? What's the fucking point? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Like what did what's it he's more of a smaller channel, but Ezra Nazarene, where he talked about how most women see sex as like a down payment for like a relationship. And for me it's like I can understand it to an extent because I mean most women are not, nymphomaniacs, so even though it's easy for them to like you said, just be reckless with their womb, the reality is that for most women, doing so will destroy their mental health. So I can't be necessarily mad in regards to that. Yeah, what I'm just against is this narrative of how, like you said, duty to relationships or duty to family and relationships is one sided, a male only thing. Where somehow only men have to sacrifice. Is no, 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 no. Either we both sacrifice or neither one of us are sacrificing. It ain't gonna be no, oh, I have to sacrifice, but you don't because you're just a soft little princess. Oh, no, 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 no. You're gonna have to work for your spot in the family. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So
that's the way
that's
it
just my
should be,
thing,
but that's not how
right?
it's, that's not
That's
how it's,
not how it is, like you said. And a lot of guys, man, like you said, is that, and this is how a lot of brothers get caught up. We let our virility, because I was reading an article where they talked about how, like, you know for so-called black men, those of us that are in our 20s, like me, that are in shape, well, not me personally, I still need to get in shape, but for like black males between 18 and 30, we have like the highest testosterone rate of like any male demographic here in the US. So like it's just sad seeing how so many of us would just let our virility just in our natural born strength and ability just be used against us, either trying to impress women that don't respect us, or trying to quote unquote prove our manhood to people that don't even like us to begin with. You know what I mean? Like you could see countless stories of dudes ended up in jail, dead, or beaten half to death because they want to prove how much of a man they are. They want to prove they that nigga, and it just doesn't end well. You know what I mean?
of course it don't end well. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you know, the guy might be a little extreme to a certain extent. Okay, I can see people saying that. Okay, but what I'm not about to do, man, I'm not about to deride motherfuckers because they African. I'm not about to deride motherfuckers because they Puerto Rican or whatever. I don't give a fuck who an alien could have wrote this book. Okay, so what I'm not about to do is deal with a whole bunch of rigmarole and niggas insecurities and niggas tribalism over some ADOS or some FBA shit. I understand the argument for FBA and ADOS. I get it. I understand it. But I'm not about to start fucking set tripping and getting into some tribalism right now over an argument that to me, it just seems it makes sense. It's basically saying, hey, look, bro, if you are expected to work, and the other individual is expected to just rest in their femininity and not do a whole bunch of shit, because your job is actually to be a provider and a protector. In other words, what you're supposed to do is be a fucking guard dog. When they say jump, you're supposed to go get to it. And when they ask for the money, you're supposed to say, here it is. Bottom line. Now, how is that situation a situation of equality and parity and reciprocity? How?
Right. AKA you work hard and you bring home, you give her the whole paycheck. Not a portion, the whole thing. The whole paycheck.
Here comes my dissenter right here. PK, what's cracking?
I didn't come to dissent, bro. You know you my nigga, bro. What's wrong with you?
I'll fuck with you. Hey, look, you always respectful in your dissent. But some cats, man, I'm done with that shit. I'm not arguing with riffraff niggas no more. You want to be contrary and disrespectful? But I don't have... Dissent is good. But like just snarky little bitch ass shit, man, I ain't down with that. Shout out to BGS, man. Yeah, man. Fuck with the Cash App tonight, man. Shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, go ahead, man. But Equalizer was here first, so I'm gonna let him speak, and then we can get to you, PK.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, respect to the chat and the panel. Another masterclass as usual. No surprise. People forgetting the meanings or don't know the meanings, of words. And a relationship has to be beneficial for all parties. It's really that simple. But here in the States, and particularly amongst black men, you're cultivated to basically be a slave to this day. And this is why this is why this type of information, as factual as it is, they don't like to hear it. GG, all the PhDs, they're giving out, they're showing you the word, they're showing you the path, how we got here. They're showing you policies, not their feelings. And people getting upset about that. How are you, as a man who's supposedly logical, gonna get mad at another man who's showing you how this quote unquote matrix is and how you can now choose to maneuver forward. But you're gonna get mad at him because you're in your feelings.
But
Exactly. Yeah.
you know what I perceive it as, man? This is how I perceive it, right? I told you a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago. I told you, and like Kalan Montreal said right there, like shout out to Ignaz Mouse. He said, support your scholars. You can't get this content anywhere else. And he's exactly right. And shout out to PK Angel, man, who's sitting right here on the panel. Gonna get to you in a second. But, you know, like just like he said, this ain't just about black dudes, man. This is deeper than that shit, bro. Like, I mean, you know, we can talk about race and analyze it, cause that's problematic, you know. Like, but this whole idea of like, you gotta treat me like I'm some sort of bourgeois ass 1950s housewife. Correct. What the fuck is this, man? I'm not down for this, bro. I'm just not, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't mind. Like, put it this way. If I know I got a down ass woman, and I ain't gonna say bitch. I know if I got a down ass woman who gonna be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm matching your energy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and everybody doesn't have the same skills or the same resources. But if you match my energy, like, okay, I'm trying to make us as a team win. It ain't just about me and what I'm getting. It ain't just about you and what you getting. It's about us as a unit winning.
Yeah.
I can't understand what motherfuckers don't understand about this from the beginning, though.
They don't realize the point of a union is to make the situation better. Period. Like, so if one party is not upholding, then you need to dissolve the relationship. It's not hard. So if you got a woman who's literally making your life harder, which, you know, is detrimental to her also, she doesn't sound like a pretty bright woman to me.
That's a liability, bro. That's not an asset. That's a liability, man.
That's why I tell guys all the time. If she's
but I want PK, I want PK to get his time in because he deserves it, man.
Yep.
Hey,
so
man,
PK, what's cracking?
Not a whole lot, man. You know I don't deserve it, man. I don't want to step on nobody's toes or nothing, bro. But I agree with like 80% of what is written here in this book, to be fair. I think one of my major hangups is essentially trying to link his particular views on libertarianism. I don't think any of these libertine ideologies are conducive to relationships and the functioning of societies. They're just not. And so some of the views that you would pull that he stated in his excerpt there in his book are just not conducive to a well-functioning society. They just aren't. I mean, on the face, I think it's more so a reaction to, like you said, you know, the termagant feminist. That's what it is.
Which points exactly? Like, just one example.
Some of his overall views when it comes to men's positioning within societies itself as being matriarchal. I don't know if you could make that claim that, you know, by virtue of men having any sort of dealings with women is matriarchal on the whole. It just isn't true. I get where you're coming from, but I don't see it that way. You know what I mean?
Put it this way, PK. Put it this way. You remember James Brown's song, right?
No, fill me in.
This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. So I mean, in other words, you know, when I perceive it, I'm like, okay, look. At an early age, a man is taught you need to be getting pussy, right?
Correct.
Like his boys pressuring him into it, like, you know, hey man, you know, you ain't fucked yet. You know what I'm saying? That sort of shit. Like it's always the point of like, and or you continuously fucking and shit like that. Like it's a lot of pressure. I mean, you know, I don't know how it was for, you know, for the guys who came out after Generation X or whatever the case may be. But I know
it was the same.
Okay, so it's like, okay. It's like a lot of your concepts about being a man are centered around your access to sex with women. But we all know, like, it's an entry fee. you can get sex for free to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying, if that chick like you. But you ain't gonna keep fucking that. I don't know no dude that's gonna continue to get some ass from a woman without giving up something, bro.
I agree with that. That's true.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But then if it becomes such an exchange to where the exchange is not reciprocal, because I'm like DMX on this shit. I don't know what the fuck y'all on, man. I'm like DMX back a long time. What the fuck you really want from a nigga? Somebody let me know. Like, do you expect for me to break myself to go, you know, I'm buying cars, clothes, house, I'm buying vacation, lights, gas, all this shit, and you just get to chill and live a soft girl like you chilling?
That's actually an acculturated prostitute. That's it. That example you just gave. That's what that is.
Well, that's the current dynamics. But I was gonna agree with you in so far as reciprocity, because I think that's the linchpin for how we get to a healthier overall society, really anywhere. I mean, if we're not working on the basis of reciprocity, then what are we really doing here, right? So we're essentially asking for people to be beholden to another group of people, and that's, like he mentioned earlier, a form of slavery.
Yes.
I mean, so I don't necessarily disagree with that at all. Now, what I'm saying though is that if we are operating solely on the basis of independence, we end up with a lot of these problems. I mean, people are going to rely on one another, as you've mentioned prior, right? You're gonna have that, and men and women, they have different needs. So the reciprocity may not be 1-to-1. It is what it is. That's all I'm saying.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Like you're saying in a practical sense, like what men are going to draw from a relationship is going to be different than what a woman draws from a relationship, and her input is going to be different from his, and vice versa, whatever the case may be. Right. Now, the one thing I want to say about that is, like, you know, I just don't like the whole narrowly defined roles of what a man is supposed to do versus what a woman is supposed to do, just like the feminists to a certain extent. Here's my issue, right? I don't think we can put the genie back in the bottle and make women go back to staying at the crib. Or like even that ideal. I don't think it's realistic anymore. So, like, I mean, you got to think, even women in third world countries, dog, like, I don't know, man, like, have you been to a university, bro? Have you attended a university?
Yeah, I have, but not for long.
They got women from around the world, man, who are in the professoriate at the university, man, from the Middle East. So women from the Middle East are getting doctoral degrees and master's degrees, and they're attending universities, even wearing hijabs and shit. Yeah. Okay? You got women in Asia going to get degrees and shit. Like, many of your doctors are fucking Asian women, dude. Like, I mean, have you ever went to a doctor and it was an Asian lady and shit? Or you go to the pharmacy.
Seen them. Oh, yeah.
You go to the pharmacy, it's an Asian dude or an Asian woman, or, like, you know, like, or an African woman or some shit like it, bro. All that shit about women, like, being at the crib, not having access to public or you know, like, social equality, it ain't gonna pop. I don't think we can put the genie back in the bottle on that. Okay, so the world has opened up to such an extent that going back is just not going to happen. However, is the dude a little bit hyperbolic in the arguments he makes? Yes, I think he's doing that on purpose. Okay, yes. I think that's his intention is, look, here's the world we live in where all of these, you know, freedoms have been extolled, and all the, you know, the so-called negative liberty, positive liberty with social programs and shit like this, laws that, you know, look out for women. But what do men get out of this? Like,
exactly.
What are men drawing from this? Like, okay, so men are supposed to accept equality and women's entry into social leadership roles and shit like this, but they don't have the same burdens.
Exactly.
And so the point is, you can't have a reciprocity situation where women want to be leaders, but then they don't want to be accountable.
Correct.
Or women want to have equality, but they don't want to be responsible. Or women want to receive benefits from the social arrangement, but they don't want to put in, sweat equity into it, doing things that they consider to be beneath them or things that they consider to be too laborious.
And that's one of my biggest points. They go into male spaces that the men already created. They have supremacy. They don't even have equality. They got supremacy. So since you guys by de facto have that position, why don't you go over there and build, since you are supposedly better? But they never do. They just don't.
So
For sure.
So I was gonna
let PK get his issue. No, for real. No. I get what PK is saying, though. I get what he's saying. Basically, like PK is saying this: men are not women, and women are not men. Okay, there's a fundamental biological difference between men and women, and it creates different kinds of desiderata. Or let me make it more simple, because I've been talking not with graduated terms, so let me not go there. Motherfucker, the shit that women desire and want is going to be different from the shit that men desire and want. What's going to make men happy is going to be somewhat different than what makes women happy, because they perceive and engage the world on different terms predicated upon the different biology. The architecture of their bodies create different expectations and satisfaction with what they encounter in the world, okay? I get that, okay? But you know what my issue is? Mm-hmm. This is my issue. You said you wanted this shit, and you gonna get it all the way. You said you gonna eat this shit, you went to the restaurant and ordered this shit, you gonna eat this motherfucking plate, goddamn it.
And that's fair.
I gotta think about how to word this.
You said you wanted this shit. We done went out. And we done went out to fucking get some food and shit. And you said this the restaurant you wanted to go to. They came out and put this shit on the plate exactly how you said you wanted it. They cooked it to the temperature you said you wanted, with the sides, the motherfucking dressing, and all the trimmings and everything you said you wanted. But now you only want to eat the good shit on the plate. You don't want to eat the whole fucking plate. But it's $1 million plate, goddammit. So you're just gonna take and slice off the shit you don't like. Oh, I don't want though. Why you order the shit then? Because that's what responsibility and accountability consist in. To me, it means being consistent in speech and ideals, and and also in action. So if you say, "Hey, we want equality. We don't want to be pedestalized. We don't want to be perceived as inferior. We don't want to be treated like queens." But then you oscillate and deviate and move and dither back and forth to the point where it's like, hold on, wait a minute. You don't get to play that docile, innocent woman role to the point where you get to act like, well, do you want this? Well, I don't know what I want, but I don't. Fuck all that shit. I seen my mother do that several times, bro.
I think there's a extreme cost that you would burden the society with if we continue down that road, is what I'm saying. There's a cost
I say fuck
to
it. I say fuck
That's
it.
where we're at right now.
Well,
I say fuck it, bro.
I agree. You blow up the society that way. That's what you do.
Because it ain't no turning back. I'm the type of guy, I'm saying, as a black pill man.
Yeah.
Fuck all this red pill shit. I'm the type of guy who's going to say, take the experiment to its logical fucking conclusion.
I feel that.
And
it's gonna hurt.
And if you don't like, if you do not like the consequences associated with the experiment that you have brought to fruition, that you and people like you have demanded, if you don't like the terms, then fucking change the contractual arrangement.
Yep.
I'm not right now. I believe a grown motherfucker, I believe women have grown people agency. Yep. I'm not going to treat them like fucking infants. I'm not giving them the fainting couch pass where they can just say, oh, well, my disposition is so delicate, I couldn't handle it. Fuck all that shit. Put your granny pants on. And if it's the case that we got to change the epigenetic nature of womanhood, then fuck it, we got to do that shit. These chicks,
God damn.
these chicks right now are acting like dudes out here, man.
Yeah,
I told,
no,
like
that's a
saying,
fact.
dog, I was like, some girl named Lola something. Don't play with it. Don't play. You got chicks out here, man. Megan Thee Stallion. These chicks is like they acting and carrying on like dudes.
Yeah.
But here's my problem, and I'm gonna let BGS speak because he's the master teacher. All right. But here's the deal. Women have created worlds, but men don't know what the fuck kind of worlds women have created because for the most part, women are so fucking clever they'll get you to do shit while they sitting back chilling. Have you ever noticed, man? Like, have you ever been to a hardware store or like a furniture store where, you know, like IKEA or some shit like that? Or a family member of hers is going to IKEA or some shit like that. And it's a holiday and y'all got time. Y'all all vacationing and shit. This chick got you putting together furniture on fucking holiday and they just sitting around talking shit while your ass is working putting shit together.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I ain't gonna say some of the women ain't cooking or some shit, but all women during holiday times, all of them ain't cooking. Granny cooking, one or two chicks is cooking. The rest of these chicks sitting around doing nothing but running their goddamn mouth.
Nowadays, most of them can't even cook. Ain't it proud?
So I'm saying this is what I'm saying. I'm saying I've seen women manipulate men and get men to do shit that they can fucking do for their goddamn selves. I am an iron worker, dog. Like I've been a member of Local 396 for years. Okay, I'm a die iron worker. I done seen women out there busting lugs and shit, motherfucking sleeving I-beams and all kind of shit. I done seen women out there packing rebar. They can do it if they fucking want to do it. But you know what? They ain't got to do it because you got niggas who gonna step up and do it in order to get the pussy, bro. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But I mean, you know, hey, let them get off, let them free ride for the vagina. That's where most guys are at with this shit. I'm gonna let them free ride for the vagina because I value that more than I value reciprocity.
More than they value themselves.
There you go. Say, I can't open this bottle. I had a chick. I'm putting together some shit for motherfucking family members and shit, you know. And they gave me a bottle of liquor, which is cool, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But damn, a $20 bottle of liquor for putting together a big-ass entertainment center and shit? It took me about an hour and a half to put that motherfucker together. That would, I mean, you know, it was worth more. If a technician would have been charging to put that motherfucker together, he'd have got $60, $70, $80 or some shit. And I get a bottle of a Ripple and shit from Sanford and Son. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. That's the sort of shit we dealing with. But BGS, man, holler at us, man.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you're already seeing it, man. Because over the last 3 months, what have been complaining about? 60% of so-called 60% of men are single or not in relationship at all, whereas only 30% of women. You're already seeing it. What do you think Richard Reeves is out here doing? He's trying to. They're trying to reset the clock. They're trying to reset the social contract, right? The feminists have violated the social contract. Guess what guys are doing? We don't, you destroy the contract. Guess what we doing? We walking out. It's a strike. That's what Dr. Neal was talking about last night.
For sure.
It's a worldwide strike that men have had enough, and we're not dealing with it. So that's why a lot of these they're calling them incels and they're calling them whatever, soy boys, whatever, right? We're gonna get online with our buddies. We're gonna get us a bottle of lotion, and we're gonna get us some porn. Okay, fuck this. The cost of your vagina is too much. We're not dealing with this. So basically, women they're not bringing anything to the table except vagina. And said, fuck, we don't need vagina. Okay, we're gonna wait till either the prostitutes get cheaper or they come out with sex dolls because what you're charging for your services is too much. So it's already happening, and even the feminists are saying, right, they're at 15% of where they want to be, and they can't get to the rest of it as far as being in charge unless women change their mindset. And what they're battling is the old saying, nurture over nature. I'm a Gnostic, right? There is no such thing as nurture over nature. Nature rules everything, right? And what's happening is the women's natural hypergamous nature that's built into them is not accepting guys that are less than them. Okay, they're not accepting the so-called wives or people in the Aesop Rocky position, right? The so-called what I think they would call them a lead caregiver. These kind of terms that they throw around. Okay, the women don't like it. So it's really not the men are rebelling already because men just bow out, but the women are rebelling. If I can't have a guy that's better than me, makes more money than me, no matter how much I make, then I don't want him. So I'll sit on the side and I'll be celibate. Fine. Then watch your society go down the tank, go down the tubes, and that's what's happening, right? That's how come you have all of a sudden Richard Reeves reading on Boys and Men and coming to the manosphere, right? The fucking manosphere, the Brookings Institute, coming to the manosphere and talking to people. Why do you think that is? Because it's
And
not
look,
just affecting people in America; it's all over the world. Go ahead.
I don't have a problem with women going to work. I don't have a problem with women having a say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with women becoming educated and being boss bitches.
Mm-hmm.
But as it pertains to bringing that shit to the crib and like trying to be dictatorial and then going back and forth between, well, I'm a soft girl and I'm girly and then I'm aggressive and I'm hard as a motherfucker and moving back and forward and in and out like this gender fluidity shit is, to them, it's all performance. But to me, it's like, I'm Isaac Kennedy, Leon Isaac Kennedy in penitentiary. I'm in a fucking jail cell, and this bitch trying to rape me with a dildo.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And niggas, I'm serious, bro. Like, I mean, you know, like, come on, man. Like, I know it's a strong analogy.
If you can socialize the men to accept it, then that's fine. If you can socialize men to accept the contract, I have no problem with them accepting the contract. Right? That's the guys that you built. That's what you socialized them for. If women want to go out and they want to be the breadwinners and come home and put the guys in that position and be happy with it, and you can make a family formation with it, I'm all good with it, because at the end of the day, gender roles are basically just how you organize people. Okay, how society organizes their people. So at the end of the day, but the thing is, the shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like what Feynman said, I don't care how good the theory is, if shit doesn't line up with the experiment, it's wrong. It's
and
failed.
That's what PK Angel was saying, right? So, but my view, look, I already think that the system is fucked up. First of all, I think, look.
What happens to a fucked up system?
It collapses.
It collapses.
But look, here's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay.
All right.
White bitches didn't give a fuck. All these bourgeois white bitches didn't really give a goddamn good flying fuck until they saw black people, man, with the civil rights movement, and they stepped their asses right on in there and hijacked the shit.
Yeah, with the Gucci boots, huh?
That's these white women came with the Gucci boots, and all the other women just follow right there and after. Okay? And they were cool with the system because they already had their own worlds. They created their own social environments, their own, like their own kind of, I don't know. I guess habitats would be the best word to explain it, because men create worlds, women create worlds. That's what human beings do. That's why I love Heidegger. Human beings create worlds. That's what we do. And we create excellences within those worlds. Like, for example, baseball, it's a world. Didn't exist before the 1800s, but it exists now. Basketball is a world. Jazz music is a world. Hip-hop is a world. Okay? And this is the problem I think that a lot of men are having. Bitch, you're liberated. Create your own worlds. Invent them. Create mechanisms within those worlds and excellences within those worlds. And stop trying to jack the nigga shit. Stop trying to jack men shit.
Culture doesn't change that fast, though. Gigi.
But my thing is this. There ain't shit nowadays stopping a woman from creating a world.
There isn't.
But I'm gonna tell you why women don't create worlds.
Okay.
I think Jordan Peterson said something about this. I think Camille Paglia said something about this. Women aren't like neurotic. I mean, they're neurotic, but they're not obsessive compulsive and try to demonstrate their value like men do.
their bodies are their bodies are built differently. Okay,
Yeah.
their worldview, everybody's worldview comes through their body because if you if you just by giving a woman hormones, more testosterone, it's going to alter her worldview of sex and how she views the world. It's going to do that. Everything is filtered through your body. Okay, your whole senses, your way of being, your way of thought is when you're thrown into a body like Heidegger. Let's use Heidegger for instance, right? You're thrown
Right.
into a world, into an environment. You're thrown into a body. Okay, everything is filtered through your body. Your emotions, your hormones, the worldview is all filtered through that, right? A woman's they did this experiment in Norway where they raised for 20 years. They raised the boys and the girls the exact same way, exact same training, exact same schools, everything, right? Down to everything, right? To do this experiment, right? They still chose the same
Professions
jobs and
and
professions.
Yeah.
So in other words, a lot of this stuff is built into nature, and that that's what I hate about this post and what is
post-structuralism,
postmodern, post-structuralism,
modernity.
modern. Okay, in other words, everything is performance. Nothing there's no tabula rasa. Everybody's a tabula rasa, right? A clean blank slate that has to be imprinted on, which is bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Okay, and
Well, you know what, BGS.
Go ahead, Doc.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Mhm.
I'm what they would call just. So you got hard universalism, which is like an ethical term. If you don't understand it, well, I'll just say it this way. There's only one way to do morality, and it's predicated upon some pre-established ideal, like, for example, deontology. That's a hard universalist position. Like, if something is going to be ethical, it has to be predicated upon these principles espoused by this philosophical theory, okay? Or utilitarianism. I'm a soft universalist, just so you know, okay? So that basically says, look, I think that our bodies and our psyches have a role to play in the ethics, the kind of ethical systems that we develop. So, like, that's why I love to refer to the monkey experiment, like, where they throw the cucumber, because we had the same morality as monkeys, man. Like, we had the same concepts of fairness, and they're channeled through our empathy, our seeing what other people, it's our mirror neurons, actually, okay? And also, our parasympathetic nervous system, bro. Like, it enables us to have the kind of morality that we have. And it is the case that women are different than men, okay? But my whole thing is this, on principle. I know it's hardcore, but I'm like, bitch, if you say this is what you want, you're gonna eat this.
Yeah, I agree with you.
If this is the shit you say you want, if you want equality, then you gotta have responsibility, because there's no equality without responsibility.
But the thing is, and this is something that quickly said, right? Okay, culture changes by being taught from one generation to the next, right? It takes it alters very slowly. Okay, so in other words, our electronic environment has changed rapidly, but the thing is, our culture still changes slowly. So basically, a lot of guys, some of the cultural elements that would still exhibit amongst these macho people talking about, I need to pay 100%, right? Goes back to really the 30s, okay? Because it hasn't caught up yet. But look at the Z's, the lag. But look at the Z's and the A's, and they say, "Fuck it, I'm not doing that shit for this bitch." Okay, she got to get out and get it just like everybody else, right?
Exactly.
So in other words, they're just now catching up, and that's where the problem is, because the Z's are coming into the prime mating market over the planet, right? Between 25 and 45, that's your prime mating market for men, right? And men said, "Fuck it, I'm not taking care of a family. I'm not having any kids. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to make my $20,000 a year. I'm gonna live in a basement, or basically live with a roommate, and I'm not gonna participate because women have been too insufferable, and that's the problem."
But you know what it really. I'm gonna tell you what this shit really is, BGS.
Okay.
What it really is that women do not like the men that they've culturally indoctrinated.
Exactly, and where does it come from?
They
That's
don't like
internal.
that shit. They
That's
don't
in,
like. They
that's
don't like the
internal.
boys that. They don't like the boys that they. But it happens in the home.
Mhm.
It happens in the school. Whether it be like from K to from kindergarten all the way up to the terminal degrees. Okay, this is what they wanted. Okay, this is what you've created. You've created the type of guys that lead to societal decay.
And basically, logically, when men look at this and say, wait a minute, if you want this kind of guy, why do you train boys this way? Why do you train boys this way? And women don't have an answer because they're not going off of logic. They're going off emotion.
They're going off money. So I think
even greed is an emotion. Okay.
Yeah, true. That's true. That's true. I think this is why Rousseau is important to me, right?
Okay.
We talked about like I didn't get into it as much as I would like to have done, but people kind of lose. They can't see the forest for the trees when you start to get into the minutia of philosophy and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the one thing that Rousseau says that's corrupting about society is that we move away from self-love that's like amour de soi, and we move into something called amour propre, okay? And so basically that's that ego shit. Like, this is what black women are definitely caught up into the amour propre.
Oh yeah,
okay?
They've been that way for the longest, man.
I got more status than you.
Yeah.
Like I'm the boss of this motherfucker. Like like Rick Ross. They may as well motherfucker have a Rick Ross song out talking about I'm the boss.
Men, and I said this. I said this in my last video, right? Okay, black women have never included men in the family. A family has always been, since slavery, has always been a woman and her children, right? Men were always resources. That's like always replaceable.
I would say as an addition, I would argue they don't even include children as a part of the community. Like the men and the children only included on an ad hoc basis. And this
no, exactly. Because if you go back and read Frasier, right? What's the most embarrassing thing for a black woman in the world? To lose control of her children.
Yeah.
She defines herself by being a mother. Okay, so she defines herself. That's like,
or should I say, it's right? Or
go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah, but I'm saying more so for the status, not so much for the nurturing element, but for the status of saying you're a mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The status of saying you're a mom.
What makes us a man in this culture? Status, right?
But the fucked up thing is, and I'm sorry to interject here. Here's the fucked up thing: you basically took away the ability for men to display manliness. You basically took it away. And now you're pretending to be men because you done basically let these white bitches hijack the civil rights movement, which would have gave us the jobs and the so-called status that you say you want from niggas.
They never wanted you to have it anyway.
Correct. I actually explained this on Mr. Z's panel not long ago. They didn't want you to have that.
Go back to the little clip of 1970, right? What are they saying? They didn't want you to have that shit anyway.
You gotta take it from us.
You gotta take it from us. You gotta pry your man from our cold, dead motherfucking hands. That's what they want to say.
And like you said, and like you said, is hey listen, you're free to do that.
I hate to say it that way, Doc.
Yeah, and like you said, they're free to do it, but then don't like what everybody's saying. Don't complain about why your community's a shithole. You know why your community's a shithole. Stop lying. Stop playing the victim. No, you care more about fake supremacy than you did about actually having like a functional family structure. So I mean, hey, that's the trade-off.
They're happy with the shithole. They just don't want to take the blame for it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Who they blame it on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get what like Ice Cream Cake is saying. It's probably some white chick or black chick or whatever. I don't know. Because black men let white men take from them to give to his women. But like, look, here's the deal.
We didn't have no power to take it. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So that's one thing that people got to be aware of. Like, okay, so this is how the shit goes, right? Black people use a moral argument and a moral political strategy and displayed it we talked about this shit on Dr. Thunder Show Sunday, right? So the civil rights movement was not a political movement outside of the context of ethics and morality. It wasn't I mean, we can argue like the Deacons of Defense, you know, had a role to play with guns and shit like that, but largely in a overt way, it was predicated, the civil rights movement was, on nonviolent protest and the moral suasion. Namely that you can't keep beating us and tell the world that you have a free democracy. Like, you know, this is what, you know, the world has to look forward to. This is what American exceptionalism inheres in, okay? So it was just, it wasn't a good look, okay, for America. So they were like, okay, we got to do something. We got to grant these motherfuckers some concessions, okay? But what they did was they did the Lucy with the football on us, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We thought we were about to kick the ball, but the last minute, Lucy, and the white woman is Lucy, man, because white men and white women have always been in cahoots, man. Mm-hmm. They always been a team, okay? Just give it to us, because, you know, white first, that's how they think. They think white first. They don't think sex first. They don't think none of that shit first. They think white first. They'll tell you a whole bunch of shit about sex and gender or whatever the case may be. But when it comes down, when the rubber meets the road, they're on some white shit first. Yeah. Okay? That's what Howard Smith was on. That's what that white woman initially was on. Okay? Who basically said, and I'll show you what she said. Hold on, let me show you. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta step off the panel right quick. Somebody keep the streamer link up, just in case, you know, there's enough time for me to come back on, okay?
Yes, sir, man. I'll holler at you, bro.
All right, thank you. Bye.
So I'm gonna play this and then I'm gonna be right back.
Most important changes that have taken place in respect to the status of women since you've been in Congress.
Well, I think perhaps the most important change was the one that added sex to the bill of 1964. This bill was drafted really to help Negroes. Now, it wasn't clear. It would have meant that Negro women would have been given rights that were not available to white women. Therefore, we added sex. It is my belief that the drafters had never had assumed that no women would get any rights. So that I think both white and black women were helped by the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's
with
the
no
case,
mention of black men,
exactly. So if white women are helped by the bill, and black women are helped by the bill, and white men are, you know, basically they're already in the motherfucking paramount position, right? So what the fuck? Black men aren't helped at all by the goddamn bill?
Exactly.
It's almost like they never wanted you to have, you know, those families and whatnot.
Ain't I a woman, right?
Yeah.
Look, we're not even talking about black women had the power to take anything. Here's the deal. What we're saying is black women are complicit in a system of marginalization of black men, but at the same time, they're acting as if they're magical and that they're using, you know, all of their agency in order to hold the black community together. No, you actually just sold black men out for the slice of the devil's pie.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
This is what we're saying. We're saying that, like, you don't have to have a system. Well, you don't have to have a black culture that basically says, fuck you niggas. Like, I'm going to be, like, a women can unilaterally decide in the black community that, okay, look, we're going to take advantage of the programs as much as we can, but we're not going to excise our men away from us. Okay, we're not going to treat our men like boys and talk about them and call them nakers and dusties and didn't do nothings and shit. We're not going to do that because we know the history of black men and what they have led to in terms of, you know, our ability to be free today. Because let's face it, man, black men fought every goddamn war in this motherfucker.
Yes.
All the way from the Revolutionary to the goddamn Civil to the World War II. And then some. Okay? So the whole idea in the Civil War, like they fought in the Union Army, it was they were integral part. They were an integral part of emancipation in fucking general.
Yes,
okay?
Correct.
So to not even acknowledge that is to basically be like, well, you shitting on black men like right then and there.
Yeah.
I mean, like this. You shitting on them. So at the end of the day, all we're saying is, look, like Jason Whitlock said, I don't agree with everything he said, but what he did say when he said this, he said it correctly. The civil rights bill was hijacked by white women in order to fuck over black people as a whole. Because if you look at it, come on, we just did the Brookings Institute study that was, basically it basically went into what was going on in Stanford and Harvard about how black boys are down on a downwardly mobile track. And the reason that there is no wealth in the black community is primarily because black men have been suppressed from the market. They've been disenfranchised in the market. Okay,
and basically they've doubled up what black men's portion and gave it to white women. So their wealth went up faster, like twice as fast. There's no magic to it, even though the economists try to pull all this mumbo jumbo. If you take the economic wealth from black men and give it to white women, and white women marry white men, guess what you done? You just
double their wealth.
Exactly. You don't need to be a genius.
You have to be a genius.
So this is not like I don't want to blame black women all the way through and through. All I'm saying is this.
I will. You don't have to, but I will.
No way, Gigi. We'll do it for you, buddy. We know you don't want to be a misogynist. We'll do that work.
Dirty work for you.
Well, okay. Well, then take the slack then, motherfucker. No, but
I'm gonna take it. We're gonna take that.
But here's what I'm saying, right? And I always said this. It's one thing for you to say, okay, I'm taking advantage of this shit, and it is what it is. As opposed to you actually trying to say some shit like this gaslighting black men. Like, tell them the truth, man. Stop the fucking, like, there are moments when the truth comes out, but then there's always this thinly veiled lie that everybody has to accept in order for motherfuckers to go along and get along. Like, we supposed to act as if black women actually have been like, especially after the Civil Rights Act was passed, that they've like been riding die hard for black men and doing everything they can in order to hold the black community together. That's just not the fucking case. It's just a lie.
Correct.
It's just not true. Now you can say, okay, look, these motherfuckers offered us the ability to be shoehorned into what white women were getting, and we took advantage of it. It just is what it is. Sorry that y'all got fucked over, but we had to do what was best for us. You can say that, but you can't act as if you've been the backbone of the black community when you really have not been looking out for blacks as a whole. You've been looking out for your own goddamn demographic.
Yeah, of course. They did that. What happened in 1961 with the Monahan scissors, right? As soon as a black one found a way to get away from him, then she did it.
Yeah.
She did not hesitate. She ran straight for the door and hasn't looked back since. Go ahead.
But the thing is, so look, by and large, most black men are not running to white women. Like, over 80% of men, damn near 80% of black men are married to or deal with black women solely. That's the vast majority of black men. Okay.
Yeah, it used to be. Yeah.
So I mean, all I'm saying is the vast, especially in terms of marriage. I can't speak to who they fucking or whatever because I don't know that, and I don't know if there's an accurate way to actually gauge that.
There isn't.
Okay, but in terms of marriage, most black men are married to black women, not to white women, not to Mexican women, not even to foreign fucking women. I mean, let's just be honest about this, okay?
Yeah.
Now the options are opening up.
Yeah.
But only because women even white women, I mean, whoever Western women, might happen to be or fall into whatever category racially. Y'all are just some narcissistic assholes with your hands
out. True story.
Yeah.
And men are like, who wants to deal with a fucking brat, an asshole who's got her hand out saying she's the prize when she's actually a liability?
That's why they're catching flights, boss.
And look, I would love to have a wife who had a $250,000 salary, who was willing to put the shit in a pot and share it so that everybody in the family could utilize it, and we made decisions together, and nobody was like trying to be like, I'm the boss, so I run this shit. Like, if you don't do what I say, then I'm causing, some sort of havoc. I'm pushing the panic button. Whenever I fucking can't get my way, I'm throwing tantrums and shit.
But Gigi, because in that scenario, they artificially feel that they deserve a guy who makes $1 million. So that's the problem. The guy that's making $1 million, that's not even checking for them. That's the guy that they deserve. But you don't.
You know what? It's going to take a generation to clean all that out because they willing to die for their belief.
Yeah. My name is Elmer J. Fudd. I want a mansion and a yacht.
My bad.
My name is Elmer J. Fudd. I want a man.
mansion and a yacht.
I got desires too.
Yeah.
But like desires should not be standards.
Yeah, exactly.
Desires, like market desires or like luxurious living desires, should not be the equivalent of reality associated with relationships and access to the dating market.
Correct. And that's why
they should not be equated. Like, but if you got like, but this is the hypergamy bullshit that people talk about, right?
Yep.
And you know, like it's been corroborated by science. You know what I mean? You know, like I just went through a paper where it's like, well, you know, relationships usually don't work if the man is making less money than the woman.
Well,
it's
there's a clear
these motherfuckers gonna dissolve.
There's a clear divide.
They don't believe in marriage, man.
Well, no, there's a clear divide, and it's been this way since we can actually clearly track when the divide in between marriage and your birth rate started to decline. Now, you can argue that marriage, there's additional factors involved in that, but when women started to enter the workforce to the same degree as men, there's a clear divide.
We know.
In okay, go ahead. In fertility rate.
Yeah, continue. Go ahead.
So I mean, it's clear.
Yeah.
This isn't something that can really continue to be argued. I mean, people like to, but it's not. It's not. There's no argument.
It's biological. It's not cultural.
So in other words, like here's the deal, right? So here's ice cream cake again. Black men have not been able to keep up with other men. Like, what men are you discussing? Which men are you talking about?
The link's there, boss. You don't have to.
Yeah.
He's not gonna come up.
Yeah.
But I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like, hold on, wait a minute. We already know black men can't keep up.
Yeah.
Because the system is basically designed. It's been designed to oppress us and to prevent us from being able to enter into and engage with the market on terms that are equitable and fair. We already know this shit. We've been through it. Like we already been through it over and over and over and over again. Okay. Even black boys, the collective of men, okay, so basically like all black men are just like troglodytish and backwards just because, not because of the environment or the politics or like the racism or, you know, like all kinds of psychological operations and counterinsurgency strategies. That's not what it is. It's just that we just some backwards ass niggas didn't do nothing nakers. That's all it is. And here's the funny thing about it.
Yes.
Guess what? Black women manufacture black men out of their pussy holes.
Yeah.
So you gotta take responsibility for the shit as well, because you are the fucking women that give birth to black men.
Okay.
Yeah. You're the ones who educate them. You're the ones who educate them in their formative years. You can educate them to be toothless, punk bitch ass niggas who cut their dicks off and wear weave and get motherfucking Brazilian butt lifts. Or you can raise them motherfuckers to be warriors. The question is, what the fuck do you want? Because they coming out of your pussy holes and you're the ones primarily educating them.
Clearly that's not what they want, because then they would lose power.
I'm asking the question. Now we got to be real about this shit. Now we're not going to sit here and, I don't believe in playing games. I'm like, if they coming out of your wombs and they're educated and raised in your homes, you are fucking primarily responsible for what the fuck you getting in terms of an outcome. You can't shirk away from your responsibility related to that dynamic. You can't say, I don't want no nigga, I'm strong and independent, I don't need no niggas because they nakers and they no good, shiftless, didn't do nothing Tyrone motherfuckers. Well, now you got to step up and be responsible for the boys that you producing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You decided that you wanted to be on your goddamn own. Look, we already saw that. Hey, bro, look, I'm going to give you a quick fact.
If you want
motherfuckers, hold on, wait a minute.
If you raise compromised men, that's what you got to do. You got to take care of compromised men. Just like when white men raise compromised white women, they had to take care of them.
So don't. But the one thing that's disingenuous is placing all of this shit at the hands of black men. Like, where are the fathers? Because we done already sink this shit a million times.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father.
Cricket. Cricket.
of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so, you know, it really, male figures not substantially important in the family.
Why? Why should a man commit himself to some shit like that? Now, at the end of the day, I get in this same show, she's gonna say, well, show the interview of the fathers. They showed 1 or 2 dudes. They didn't have a motherfucking panel of 20 dudes, 20 black males sitting around in a fucking circle saying, do you want to impregnate women and just keep it pushing? They interviewed 1 fucking dude on the street. I done seen it. You know, I done seen the video. Mm-hmm. You understand? They ain't have like 20 or 30 boys sitting around who was black asking, well, you know, is it all you want is the pussy, sir? No, they didn't ask that question to black men. They did not sit around in a panel and ask all of these fucking questions to black men.
Yeah, and this is an 86 with the height of birth control.
The diminishing black family, okay? So let me just say this shit. At the end of the day, yes, it takes 2 to tango. It does. So I'm not going to let black men off the hook. I'm going to say to black men, man, preserve your seed and plant your seed in soil that you know is going to be fertile and nutrient rich. You know, it makes no sense to put your seed in rocks and soil without nitrogen and shit. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get
ask all them brothers that earn less than $10,000 a year that have to go to jail for child support if they get off the hook.
And then not only that, here's my thing. This is what we had to start telling the truth about. In America and in most of the Western world, women are the preservers and the safekeepers of chastity and reproduction.
Supposed to be.
Yep. Bottom fucking line. Mm-hmm. Bottom line. Mm-hmm. Women are the safekeepers and preservers of chastity and reproduction.
Yeah,
they decide whether or not a fucking baby's going to be born into the world. Yeah. And typically they do so by themselves. Yeah. Okay? They're the ones who decide, I'm going to have a baby in an environment where I'm going to do it by my goddamn self, or they're going to say, before I open my motherfucking hot ass legs and make them, don't play with it, just lay in it. Mm-hmm. Before all that shit, just stay in it, just lay in it. Before all that, they make a decision that, hey, there's adverse consequences for me, you know, to just have children without making sure that the environment is secure. But to them, though, the environment is secure because they already know they got some checks coming. They got Section 8 coming. They got some EBT coming. They got some child health insurance program coming. They already got a whole plethora of programs and shit coming.
In the tune of up to $63,000 a year.
So they're like, fuck that nigga. Mm-hmm. But then they'll say, oh, well, where were you at? Well, stop fucking niggas that don't have any respect for you for real outside of the context of hitting that hot ass pussy. That's the problem. Too many women in the black community have basically said, okay, well, you know, premarital sex is cool. Having babies and shit is cool. And it's just cool.
Marriage is optional, yeah.
It's cool. It's just, it's the normal course of shit.
And marriage is slavery, right?
It's oppression, yeah.
It's oppression.
It's all at the detriment of society, and that's why I say just let them fall.
Unless you're making over $100K, where you can give me a lifestyle that makes slavery, you know.
No, they don't get off either.
Bruh, I purposefully waited until I was at least 27, 28 before I had a child. I was already a college graduate and all that shit. So I'm already batting 1,000 right there, right? You would think in relation to my education and my upward mobility, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm already in graduate school, but I wasn't married. That was my issue. But even if I was married, I don't perceive it as being so much fucking different. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because nowadays the fucking marriage license ain't shit for real. Or the contract is voidable as soon as the woman decides it is.
The child support is a new marriage contract, really.
So I'm like, I'm among the top echelon of niggas in terms of education and upward mobility, and I still couldn't get no fucking respect.
All right, Rodney Dangerfield.
I mean, this is the truth, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even trying to be ignorant, and I'm a type of dude. I will out cook and clean a chick, not because, well, you know, I'm you know.
You were raised
forced
that way.
to do it.
You trained that way.
I was raised that way.
You were raised that way. Yeah.
I was raised to be a motherfucker like, well, I can do anything a chick can do. That's my Rodney Dangerfield shit right there.
Hey, and even black men who are the most egalitarian, most patient, most accepting black men on the planet, we still ain't shit. That's the bad part about it. Even white women know that. So white men say black men ask for the least and give the most. Well, we still ain't shit.
Yeah.
And black men have said we had enough. That's why I said, that's why I was saying in my last video, y'all don't owe these bras anything. You've done enough.
Sure don't.
If you want to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And my whole thing has been all along, the consciousness of black folks is about, it's not like, you can't ask for nationalism, but everybody in the community is on some, I got to get mine, you got to get yours type of shit.
Yeah, what I think this chick was saying, for a black man to get his manhood, does that mean I have to give up my peoplehood? In other words, I don't want to walk 6 steps behind you. I don't want to be submissive. I don't want to be, I want to keep my place the same way it is and get all my goodies. And if you get your manhood, that's fine. But I'm not gonna bow down or try to be accommodating so that you can get your manhood in this society, because they don't want you to have it.
So you know what dudes are saying? Mm-hmm. Dudes are saying, you know what? It's over.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
I'm going elsewhere. I'm fucking with chicks elsewhere.
Yeah.
People who are more respectful. Yeah. And look, if black men have not walked, really, like this woman saying black men have always walked. No, they haven't, man. Black men have been in there doing shit. Black men, to be quite honest, black men have allowed themselves to be cuckolded over and fucking over and over again.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, and this is something I had a problem with. Security boss said black men did a minimal. I'm a boomer, right? During the crack era, the black men came in and stood in the gap. We took those chicks that when them drug dealers had, 20 chicks and had them all pregnant. We had to take these babies out of wedlock babies and make a family out of them to have to save this community. Guess what we got for it? Y'all didn't do shit during the 80s. Y'all didn't do shit during the 90s. It's bullshit. Generation X tried to make up for that. Y'all damn near killed yourself trying to make up for that. That's what you got for it.
But here's the thing, though. Like, okay, so I have to admit, like, most black men ain't gonna go. Okay. Because shout out to 77 Base X, by the way. Shout out to you, sir. Appreciate that. I got to give him a sound effect, man, for that $50. Holla. Appreciate that, sir. But here's the deal. See, look. Fatherless homes, man, like, men are partially responsible because it takes two to tango.
Okay.
But the buck stops with a woman because she is the preserver and the arbiter, finally, over chastity and reproduction. If the woman does not want to be pregnant by herself, she doesn't fucking have to be.
No.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom fucking line. So either you got agency or you don't have it.
Yeah.
Okay? Then secondly, in terms of black men been leaving for years now, I agree. Black men need to get the fuck on down the road, if that's the case.
Yeah.
If black men gonna be like fuck it and do them, black men need to be like fuck it and do them.
Nothing. Okay, you basically you're trying to compress hundreds of years of action into like 10, 15 years. It doesn't work that way. It never has. It takes time. Societies just don't break up and just fall apart within a decade or so, right? It doesn't happen that way. It takes generations for that to happen.
And let me just be real frank about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening to black men right now is you got motherfucking women who got 2 or 3 kids already that's overweight, fat as a motherfucker, and look like motherfucking the bottom of your shoe and shit, the gum on it. And these women are demanding that they get the higher echelon of dudes and shit.
Yeah, good for them.
Good luck.
And we like, black men are just like honestly, like, seriously, lady, man, like, are you, like for real, man, like, seriously. That's like, is that really what you fucking think that you're about to get? Because it's delusional. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. You think that's what you're about to get?
But I don't make what Sauchi makes, so I'm not gonna get it.
Actually, Gigi, it's even worse than that now. Now, half these bitches don't even teach their daughters how to handle their cycle, but we're supposed to sit around and take that shit.
Yeah, bro. I done had women. Honestly, first of all, I got a doctoral degree. Okay. Yeah. I've had women who consider themselves to be above me just because they got a fucking uterus and labia.
Yeah.
Smarter than me. Yeah. And the motherfuckers already, like, I got 2 kids, all right? I got 2 kids. It is what it is. So I'm thinking, black men usually do parity, equality, justice, and fairness for all. Like, I can see myself like Superman now with my hands on my hips and shit. That's the American way. So you can't hold it against them, you know what I'm saying? And then you seen men in the past step in and play the daddy role to other motherfuckers' kids.
That is a survival adaptation because of the vagaries and the extreme of the slavery and Jim Crow.
Yeah.
The average lifespan up until I think 1930 of a black man was 31 years. Okay. Basically, they're gonna die. They're gonna get killed. They're gonna disappear. They're gonna go to jail. Right? Somebody's got to step into the gap. That's a evolutionary and a cultural adaptation. Okay, we don't need it anymore, but we still have it.
But you know what? Even I thought that I didn't know that was gonna actually play. I was checking it to see if it would, but it did. Okay. But here's the thing, right? You got women right now, these motherfuckers are pregnant already, 2 or 3 kids already, and they still arrogant as a motherfucker, acting like they got choices out here. What the fuck is wrong with y'all, man?
But they've been taught.
Yeah. You are actually, like, to be quite honest, man, look, it's a lot of upwardly mobile, some of us on a downwardly mobile track, but not all of us. It's a lot of good-ass black dudes out here getting it.
Yep.
Who really actually want to meet some God-fearing, nice-ass ladies and not have to travel to do it. But you know what? A lot of y'all motherfuckers, I don't know, I can't speak to everywhere in the world because I done had women in Houston, cook me dinner and shit and then hand me the remote control and put a beer in my hand. But in St. Louis, y'all, no disrespect to St. Louis, man, but some of the most ignorant, cutthroat, aggressive, violent, vindictive, manipulative bitches in the world live in the 314, man.
I heard about them.
Damn.
Arrogant as a motherfucker. Like, if you already got 2 kids and shit, you wasn't able, and 3 different niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Don't go to Philly, though. Okay,
and then you still got your nose turned up in the air? And this is the problem, man. And then but the whole thing is, it's all finger pointing. See, the finger's been pointed at us for decades.
Okay.
And what they don't like is for the finger to get pointed in the other fucking direction. That's the problem.
Too bad, get over it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a boomer, by the way. So all that boomer shit, you can go fuck with your cat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to get this bitch up out of here. I don't like her.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, like, I'm done. Like I said, from now on, I'm about to get rid of motherfucking trolls and shit. Y'all can go to somebody else's channel and troll them motherfuckers. I'm not interested in the trolling bullshit. And then, like, if I got people, man, in the chat who got wrenches, y'all need to be regulating this shit, man. Like posse comitatus, man.
All you gotta do is give the word, man. They can't wait to snipe them, but they think you're an academic. You're willing to give people a little bit more rope. That's why.
But they don't know, man. I'm a nigga in educated clothing. I know it might don't sound right, but I mean it is what it is.
Well, you say you the G with a PhD.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so and a woman actually gave me that name. You know, Kim.
Oh, really?
Her name is Stacy Static. She the one that actually said, "You the G with the PhD." What's up, G?
Well, I thought you were the epitome of what black women want. Basically, a Tupac with a degree.
Man, that shit don't matter to them, man.
if you can't satisfy, man.
I'm 6'3", I'm 215 pounds, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm the bruz. I'm not a bad looking dude. I'm educated. You know what I'm saying? I'm articulate. I'm witty. I make money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, like it still does not matter.
You close to the street. You got a little swag.
This shit does not. Hey, bro, that shit. It does not matter. If it can happen to Michael Jordan, if it can happen to Jeff Bezos, if it can happen to Emmett Smith, if it can happen to Will Smith, if it can happen to any motherfucking dude, man, like the stars of the stars, the guys who are overachievers, if it can happen to those guys, it can happen to you. What we're dealing with is a mentality and a mindset that's insatiable and unsatisfied. There's no satisfaction.
And low self-esteem, I would add.
So, you know, like if here's the thing. I think you showed a video, BGS, not too long ago. It was about contempt. I think it was a short video that you showed.
Yeah.
The problem is that the relationships in the Western world are predicated upon being able to display incessantly. And because people in America or the Western world in general, we're not taught restraint. Delayed gratification. We're taught microwave shit. I want it now. I want this now. Like, I mean, you don't work to get it, you get credit to get it. Then you work to pay the shit off post, in review. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't like you go out and get it. You get it now on credit, and if they gotta take it from you, they gotta take it from you. Because we robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay? That's how we live. Or it ain't exciting us right now, swipe left. I don't like what I see right there, change the channel. I'm not happy with this song on the radio. I got 1,000 XM radio stations I can choose from. There's no stick-to-itness. There's no, like we're gonna resolve our issues. There's no commitment to relations. There's commitment to self. And so I'm just saying that all across the board, men and women. So if that's the case, we don't have the behavioral power to keep it together at the current moment. Okay? And if that's the case, fuck it. And this is the problem. Like, people don't understand, and this is going back to the environment that BGS was talking about earlier on Dr. Thunder's show. The technology, the politics, the media, the entertainment, everything around us is instant. Okay? And so we don't know how to work on or work for or connect with each other over shit. That's just the way the world we live in now. It's the environment, it's the capitalist, technological, internet age that has created this phenomenon. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
This is what it is. This is what we have now.
This is literally the Matrix. This is literally the Matrix.
And it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yep.
Okay, this is just the facts. And so technology, beautiful. It's great. But what technology does is it takes away skills. That's what technology is at its core. Technology obviates the need for human beings to develop skills. That's what it's for. So you don't have to learn how to cook anymore. You just stick the fucking, the shit in the microwave. You don't have to learn how to, you don't have to know how to knead bread and make it, to where, the dough rises with yeast and all that shit is obviated now. You don't need to do it anymore. So everything has become leveled. But the problem with technology is that human beings are at their best when they develop skills that they can display to other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what human beings are at their core. They are virtuosos. Like, I mean, there's still some humans out here doing some dope shit, but the vast majority of human beings are mundane, average motherfuckers who are not working to develop either social or personal skills.
They're lotus eaters.
Yeah.
And this is the society that we're developing. People like Heidegger, Alasdair McIntyre, they cautioned and warned against it. I'm saying, hey, look, the most valuable and important things in life are relationships. But relationships in and of themselves are not just predicated upon ephemeral pleasure or pure utility, but in true friendship, which we seem to lose. We've lost the art of even knowing what friendship is anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of motherfuckers, like you said, eating lotuses, lying flat, or, you know, fucking with their cats, you know, in their own apartments or whatever the case may be. Or guys playing with PlayStation, jacking, stroking their meat with jergens or some shit. It is what it is.
Yep.
So, you know, we created this, and we created these conditions in this environment.
But what it meant said, there are levels of existence we're willing to accept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But all I can say is, man, like the video, man.
Architect? You mean the architect?
The architect, yeah. I mean, that's what's happening. Where there's levels of existence men are willing to accept.
Shout out to Dr. Thunder, man. Shout out to Dr.
What's up,
Thunder,
Doc?
man.
Hey, Doc.
Shout out to him, man. So we've seen, the problem in the black community is that we don't have a culture. We don't have an ethos. It's just a bunch of Negroes going out for dolo. And then we want,
the black family, and this is something that my partner said like 30 years ago. He said black family is a survival unit. It was never there to thrive. It's there to actually be a survival arc to get you past all the suppression and all this demonization that you had to go through in America. The thing is, does that survival arc or the survival unit thought process still serve us in this modern era?
No.
That's the question you have to ask us.
No, it doesn't.
No.
What do you think, Gigi?
No, I don't think so. I think, like every now and then, like the Jews used to come together and have Jubilee years and shit where they reevaluated like the trajectory of their culture and decided like what do we need to change. And the prophets will come and they'll issue warnings. Here's where we're going wrong. This is what we need to do. We need to repent. Shit like that. Like black folks are not doing that anymore. Like there's nobody who can tell a Negro any goddamn thing. Like, I mean, you know how fucking terrible it's become. You know it's done when you got little boys, man, cutting off their nuts and shit, and they can be girls and shit, and nobody's saying anything. Like that's the shit to do today.
That happened in Rome, and Caesar Augustus had to stop their practice. Okay, it's not new.
Now. This is standard practice. Now look, I'm with. I saw that video by Rami the other day when he talked about like we should be cautious of any system that encourages boys, especially black boys, to cut off their nuts. That's what they used to do by force to us when they lynched us.
Too late.
That was what they used to force us to. There was a ritual surrounding the castration of black men.
Yeah. In other words, if you were small and you couldn't produce the most hardiest, biggest buck on the plantation, they used to castrate you.
You're a eunuch.
You're a eunuch. It made you a eunuch. Yep.
And so, but the whole point is, we should be cautious, man. Like that's why Carter G. Woodson is important, man. And, that's why I went over the quote. Like when you got a people, you control their thinking. You don't have to control their actions. They'll perform the work themselves.
That's why that dark ghetto, both of them are actually important because that's exactly what they're talking about.
And so that's why I'm reading a New Jack version of the Dark Ghettos, and I'll be doing that tomorrow. And we'll be talking about culture because a lot of people want to change culture, but that there are more problems that are associated with changing culture, like how you're going to do it, like what demographic do you reach, like what's permissible and impermissible from a moral point of view. Like you can't dictate change. People have to accept change or accept cultural, modification through consent. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of different things that go into it. So, and a lot of us talk about it, but we don't think about it in a, protracted and in a, a linear way, you know what I'm saying? And explore the caveats, the pros and the cons in a meticulous way. And I think, it's warranted if we're making proposals of what to do. And these are some of the proposals that we have. We got to explore, whether or not it could actually be brought to fruition and whether it should be brought to fruition, and what impact is it going to have on the population that you want to alter or modify.
And at some point, man, this feminist experiment that they keep trying to push down our throats, man, that's just not working, right? At some point, they're going to have to retract that and tear this stuff up and redo it, okay? Because it's just not working. White women.
Go ahead. For anybody.
It's not working for anybody.
The first thing it has to start off is, like, I think, and we got to start off with justice, like, because so white women and intersectional women and intersectional men and queers or whatever the case may be, they're preoccupied with representation and inclusion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine and dandy, but ultimately, we already know that, like, most of inclusion, especially how it's professed in the academy, is really only predicated upon being able to justify your presence in that institution. That's where all this shit comes from. Like, what is legitimate about me being here? Well, let me write about it ad nauseum to say why I need to have my job. So I need to have my job because I need to have it because I need to be represented. Okay, well, like that kind of language, like 500 years from now, we're going to be saying the same shit. Well, we need to be here because we're underrepresented here and all of this shit. Like, what are you actually doing there that's enhancing and ameliorating the condition of black people as a whole? Okay? Yeah. So what I say is that representation politics are actually token politics, and tokenism has never really actually, resulted in a substantive change in any system, in any culture ever.
It was supposed to be temporary. It wasn't supposed to be for the next 100 years. It's supposed to be temporary until things start to equalize, and then men, and especially black men, had a chance to actually start learning these skills and doing this stuff for themselves. It wasn't supposed to last 50, 60 years. It's supposed to be temporary.
But hey, man, like
yeah, welfare was supposed to be temporary. It's supposed to be until the Social Security thing got its act together. But it's still here, almost 100 years later. It's supposed to be temporary.
And so I'm like Adolph Reed on this. I'm like, look, black people, we gotta at some point stop talking about the intersectional shit or even the racial shit and start saying, hey, look, let's deal with leftist material dialectics politics. Let's start fucking divvying the pie up more equitably. Let's start sharing benefits and burdens and distributing them more equitably in society. Let's do that. Like, I mean, America wouldn't be all that fucking bad if they would just repair what they, or, just basically issue some sort of redress for what they neglected to do from the beginning. Then we get to be like, okay, we got to reset. We good. And now if you fuck it up after that, then you can only blame yourself. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, come on, man. Like, there could be another New Deal that includes not just black folks, but everybody who's hemorrhaging. We can open up and expand the middle class. We can do away with the financialization of the market. We can change the basic structure of American society by enhancing its infrastructure to meet the demands of the new millennium. But instead of doing that shit, we're not redoing the piping, we're not redoing the highways, we're not creating high-speed rails, we're not enhancing the infrastructure of America and putting men to work in order to do it. And so we could.
Do you think we have the time? And how much time do you think it would take?
We don't have a choice, do we? It's got to get done.
I think we're beyond the point of turning around. Personally, that's
we still have to do it. The thing is, if the infrastructure collapses, it's going to happen to us. We still have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but I don't think there's enough people who really understand what needs to be done, who will sacrifice what needs to be done, even for their own selves. I just don't see it.
Well, as far as this experiment, basically, you know, we're halfway into the snake's mouth, right? Okay. At some point, there's a point of no return. I think we reached it as far as the black society. We're going to be absorbed, in my opinion.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, shout out to Jamfar. Saray Rogers, first of all.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that donation. And also shout out to Jamfar 777. America's more interested in maintaining its monetary empire. It's sapping all interest and energy.
Yeah, well, that's where it's going now. Okay, so a lot of this stuff we're arguing about right here, right now, is not important to the leaders at this point. Okay, they got they're bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah, I get it. You know, they get a proxy war with the Ukraine.
Russia.
Russia. That's what I meant to say with Russia. You know. But America, you know, a lot of the shit that America does, man, it brings on itself, man. It suffers from, it brings on itself, bro. Like, you know, America could be like one of the most secure, upscale places, and every part and nook and cranny of this place could be developed in ways that would be the envy of the world, but these motherfuckers just refuse to do it, man.
You for $15,000, you can house every homeless person, each, if you wanted to. They don't want to. There's a reason for that. You know, Sauchi knows why, but
not on this stream.
Not on this stream, no. But thing is, they could, man, but you know, they won't, and that's what made America great, but it's also its greatest weakness. So
yeah.
But hey, gentlemen, man, I really appreciate y'all coming here and chopping it up with me. And you know, every time BGS comes, it's definitely a pleasure. And AB, I ain't seen you in a minute. Pleasure to have you here as well. And the Equalizer, you know, you come through anytime. You know, all y'all come through anytime y'all want to, man. Tomorrow I will be talking about ghetto culture. A lot of people, you know, have a lot to say about it. I just think that what's said about it is said in an unfocused way. But you know, like I said, you know, I agree with like what BGS did say. You know, America could go through a second, you know, New Deal. We could be doing that, but these guys right now, they have to be prepared for what's going on in Russia and shit now. You know what I'm saying? So they got to pay attention and be careful.
You know, Gigi, it wouldn't hurt as much if black women were in the same boat as we are. Okay, if we got done wrong and got hoodwinked and got stolen from, and our black women didn't help them, I wouldn't feel so bad about it. But they helped them, took their little cut, and then started lying on us and said it was our fault. Which I disagree with. That's my problem with it. But anyway.
Yeah, and then demand that we be able to, you know, raise up and fucking beat the beast. Like one of the, like, first of all, there's no morale. Like it's like, first of all, like any sports team you see, motherfuckers got cheerleaders. Even little pee-wee motherfuckers got cheerleaders out there and shit. Hey yo, go go go, yo go go. These motherfuckers like use a naked. Didn't do nothing. Fuck you, nigga. I don't want you, nigga. I hope y'all niggas lose. Like.
Yeah, they do. That's what they say.
Like, where are cheerleaders at? Where's the morale?
What is the biggest killers of relationship criticism and contempt, and basically the black women have that on fleek. Okay, it is what it is.
Cheerleaders.
You better call Tyrone. Call them.
What is we have cheerleaders? They just use contempt instead of encouragement.
Yeah. I'm tired of your shit. So you can take Bill, Ted, and go Tyrone. And women love that shit. They like, ooh, that's my favorite song.
That's my favorite song, yeah.
And now she regret that shit. She's on the Black Breakfast Club talking about she's regrets having 3 baby daddies. I'm like, okay, well, whose fault is that?
Then, but see, then she had top dollar niggas. She had, I don't know if she got a baby by Common, but she had that nigga. She had Andre 3000.
Yep.
And who did she had? She had a whole bunch of top flight dudes. Yeah. They wasn't good enough for her ass.
Jay Electronica.
She didn't want to be married. She's not a wife.
Clearly, not even close.
Not even close. Yeah.
She a 304.
She a 304. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, anytime you know you putting thirst traps with your fucking 18-year-old daughter and shit out there, you show her ass with your daughter.
The apple don't fall far, boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's how you gonna set yourself out with your daughter with an ass pic?
Hey, you got to put her out there, just like
You ain't the
what
only one,
Tokyo
but,
Tony did with Black China.
yeah.
Okay, here's what it is.
But
I
she
was
was walking butt naked, what, like 10 years ago in public.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not a surprise.
yeah. She's a free spirit. Let's put it that way.
Hey, bro, you know, hey, she's for the streets. All I can see is I gotta get a gift with the future in that motherfucker with in the back of that Maybach. She's for the streets.
GG, I look at it this way. They wanted to be independent, so
they've been independent, man.
Let them be independent.
What did they say on the eyes of God? What she say at the end of their eyes are watching God, right? The two freest people in America are white men and black women because they do what they want. That was in the 1930s. Okay, they've been that way. They've been free.
You know what they say, man. But you know, I don't know if you. Well, hold on. Let me get Leon first. Shout out Leon 008. He says, enjoy this right here. I'm going to break down to my boys why there's some simp ass husbands using. he gonna go off on his son. Damn, Papa. Okay, I feel you. Then shout out to Indigo Flow. He says, he didn't say. He just gave a super sticker. So appreciate that. Appreciate that, bro. But you know, all I can say is, man, you know, this is strange days, man. You know, I never thought I'd see it, you know, to the point where black men are like, man, fuck it, I'm going elsewhere. I'm going to motherfucking Copacabana to find me a motherfucker.
It was just getting started, man. Just getting started.
You know what I'm saying? Look. Like you said, might be tired of Tyrone, but these niggas is tired of Glorrillas and Shaniquas and Megan Thee Stallions.
What did Dr. Neal said? He went to Gambia. He said, I ain't never coming home. Put your mom on the phone.
I don't blame him.
He said, I am out.
Yeah, bro. You know, and look, I understand it, bro. You know, like, who wants to be around a bunch of people, man, who are only looking out for themselves, but they demanding the best of the best. And even when they get that, they still ain't happy with the shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's so bad now. Not even the fast food restaurants are safe. I know you got that email, BGS, about that chick running into the Popeye.
Man, I mean, at some point, man, they got to put a check. You know, the white women got to put a check on their handmaidens. You know, I wish they could make the handmaid shells and make all the handmaids black, because that's what they are.
Man, it's you know, man. They magical as far as they concerned, you know what I'm saying? That little shot of affirmative action and civil rights shit, Title 7, Title 8, 9, boy, got them gas.
Training wheels.
Filling them with octane. Ain't that what Biggie Smalls say? The motherfucker feel. You think I mean, they full of they gassed up off that high fuel, that premium shit.
Yeah, that 890, that 100, huh? 100 octane.
In a Pinto, them motherfuckers gassed up. They ready to go, baby.
You ain't shit in a Pinto.
Ball tires.
You ain't shit, Negro.
They got that motherfucking dart popping with that motherfucking 100 octane.
Why the Pinto, man?
Hey, man, shoot. You know, hold on. He says, can y'all talk about that So G by SZA killing her ex and that song being celebrated? Hey, man, you know, hey.
Cool.
We will, you know what? I think I will talk about that. You know, but I think that might be something that you know, Dr. Johnson should cover. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I'm so tired of talking about domestic violence and intimate partner homicide. Man, I'm just like I did that shit a year and a half ago, and it just it upsets me. It takes a lot out of me, man, to talk about stuff like that. But you know, like just think about all of the songs, man, about I bust the window out your car, you know,
scratch the car.
Man, it's just so, you know, it's so much shit, man. You know, like
he deserves it. That's the mentality. He deserves it.
Goes all the way back to Frankie and Johnny back in the 30s, man.
Damn, it goes back that. Wow.
Oh yeah, Frankie. Go look at Frankie and Johnny, how she killed him.
Or that one jazz musician, I forget his name. Why is it eluding me? Jazz musician who the wife killed the dude, man. Let me see. Jazz musician killed by his wife. Let me see. Jazz.
Look at him.
By a wife. Jazz musician killed by a wife. Lee Morgan.
Lee Morgan, okay.
Yeah, it's a documentary on I think on Amazon Prime, and you know, she's interviewed and shit. Like, I mean, it's traumatizing to me, you know, to see some shit like this. But You know, he was a dope head. You know, of course, a lot of jazz musicians were in New York, but he was like a phenomenal musician.
Ellie
And
Morgan.
you know, she was much older than he was, and
46. God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she fucking murked his ass, man. She shot him, bro.
Got murked by Old Settler, huh?
Yeah, man. She and then she went to jail and bragged. I'm not gonna say she bragged, but you know, she I think Lee stepped out on her ass and was about to, start smashing something different, you know what I'm saying? Got tired of the mother smother type of joint, and
I own you.
Yeah, she was like, "No, nigga, you ain't about to do all that."
It sounds like Jesse Williams and his wife. She ain't letting him go.
Yeah.
And this is like, like another person who had a wife but I think his wife was a down motherfucker. Who's the other jazz pianist, man? Thelonious Monk. You know what I'm saying? His wife took care of him and shit. But like a lot of these guys, man, had women who would kind of mother them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like dress them and shit like that. Like,
oh yeah.
Today's men aren't shit like that. You know, where women are picking out the clothes and making sure they got the hats and food and like that shit is it's just a whole different vibe today.
I see it all the time. On the lower classes, I see it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Half them strippers got to compromise male at home. Half of them do.
I just did taxes for a couple yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
She's older than me. She's in her 40s, and they just got married. Guess how old this kid is? He's a kid, 21.
Oh yeah, he can't take care of
21.
himself. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course she has a child, but somebody else.
I tell young dudes on my Facebook page, look, I'm gonna need some of y'all to stop acting like you're your girlfriend's child, because I've seen some videos where this chick is mad at her dude because she caught him in Hooters. I don't know how she caught him in Hooters, but he's in Hooters getting some hot wings, and I'm like, that's none of your fucking business. I'm sorry. If I want to go get some hot wings from Hooters, you'll be all right. I'll buy your outfit if I have to. Shit.
No, fuck all that shit. I ain't buying you no outfit. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? You motherfucker bitch come to me in the Hooters, I'll be like, bitch, what you doing up in here, man? Why you yelling at me like that, man? You got me fucked up. I get loud, stand up and shit. You got me fucked up in this bitch. Time you get the fuck up on out of here, man. Yeah, I sure would be like, man, you don't come here.
He looked like a little boy.
He's compromised.
Fucking serious?
That's why they lie about what they demand. You know what you deserve.
Shit, I done fucked some older chicks too. They wasn't talking to me like crazy like that. Fuck that. I'm out of here, man. You gonna talking to me crazy like that, man. But women will talk to you crazy though. I mean, they will, you know what I'm saying, but not in public, man. You ain't gonna be motherfucker, especially in public. You coming in checking me like you chin checking me in public? You out of your motherfucking mind. You got me fucked up out here. No. But it's even worse in private though, man.
For the longest time, I could never understand why side chicks get mad when their man cheat on them. Until I read Daughters of the Trade, like, oh, that's why they're mad. Because I'm like, you're a side chick. By definition, your man's cheating on you. What are you doing?
Well, technically not cheating.
Not cheating. It's cool if she the side chick, but if he get another side chick for the side chick, that's you violating the terms of the agreement right there.
Yes, you are.
You can't have a side chick for the side chick because
wait a minute. I gotta take my place, doggone it.
Right. You got me.
Damn, I really ain't shit.
You ever heard of the third man argument, man, and fucking from Plato and shit? That's the third man argument and shit. Oh man, that's funny as hell. But look,
all right. What you eating tonight, G?
Man, I was about to make this chili, bro, but like I don't know now, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of lazy right now, but you know what? Fuck it though. I'm gonna go ahead and make it, man. I'm gonna cut up this bell pepper, this onion real fast. I know how to chop up an onion real quick.
Okay.
Ground this beef, man. Put that cumin in that motherfucker. A little bit of salt, pepper, some tomato sauce, and some kidney beans, man. Medium. Okay. About to be good, man. Grate some of this cheese, man. Eat that shit, man. It'd be good.
All right. We're gonna let you get busy, man. I'm out.
All right, y'all. Y'all be peaceful, man. I'm about to go ahead and drop everybody down, man, and then hit them with the Hit him with the heat, man. Anyway, man, thank y'all for coming this afternoon and into this evening. If you haven't done so, man, please check out my website, greengorillachannel.com, man. Check out some of the articles and shit I got going on over there, man. And purchase some gear, man. You can get you a Green Gorilla t-shirt or some shit. A coffee mug or something. Anyway, I'll holler at y'all later, man. Be good. 1.